to Josh. Chat. Yeah, we're live already. I'm not gonna make my chat wait, Josh. What are we talking about today? Let me fix the lighting because I'm
weirdly exposed. What up, chat? Today, what are we talking about today? Is anything even going on? What's the last thing you heard of, Zeb?
I don't know, man. It's been a slow news cycle, dude.
Yeah, I know. Like the last time you and I were together was Thursday afternoon, I believe. And did anything? I can't recall. I don't think anything big has happened since then. Oh wait. The infamous Jew started another war. Great. So I guess we're going to be talking about Iran, Israel, God's chosen people, and what we should do with the Jews as God's chosen people.
I bet the audio's,
A lot of feedback and
All right,
echo.
fixed it.
Yeah.
We fixed it, chat. Thank you, Theology. Hold on, let me put myself on screen.
Any, money. Oh, there we go.
What's up,
Boys? I didn't have time to get ready today, so that's all I have on, so you can't see my crazy hair.
But yeah,
it's been a slow news cycle. It's not like World War III is about to break out or anything.
No, nothing too big, nothing too dramatic
Going on, but
there we go, fix it now. Sorry.
other than Netanyahu went behind. Well, I don't know what you think, but I think he basically, as Nick says, vetoed Trump's decision to try and sue for diplomacy with Iran by striking them first and doing so provocatively because I'm sure you heard that these strikes are actually coming from within Iran.
That sounds Jewish.
Sounds like something they would do.
I think they basically admitted that that they have infiltrated Iran. Just Iran, no other countries. They haven't infiltrated any other countries.
No.
Iran's just Jewish infiltrated and organized and controlled now. Just Iran, not anybody else in particular.
If I were in Iran, I'd be throwing my pager in the garbage.
I thought
Cell phones, walkie-talkies.
I thought they already blew their load on the pagers, man.
You never know.
But, yeah, I think they basically come out and admitted that. I mean, Trump basically said he was trying to make a deal. Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. But the question is, if that's your stance, then what are you willing to do to hold that stance, Josh?
I mean, honestly,
support Israel or boots on the ground?
I think Trump's retarded. I think he's just either completely I don't think he's like as dumb as the left says, but he's not as smart as we have given him credit for in the past. Or he's just bought, which I don't think is the case. He's just a cooked boomer.
That anyone that is not JQ pilled is just naive to the way the world works.
Yeah. Do you think that's the case?
Ultimate reality.
Do you think he just doesn't get it?
He has, but see, that doesn't make sense to me though. He has to get it, right? He has to get it. I mean, he's not Nixon, but you got to get it a little bit.
I don't think he realizes how bad it is at best. He might be like, man, these Jews, they really get their way.
Well, they've infiltrated the Trump family. You got Kushner sitting over there.
Levi, Donald, come to my apartment at 666 Avenue.
Chat, what's up, baby? Uno, welcome. 1989 Theology, welcome to the chat. Sparky says, let's be honest. Netanyahu owns Trump's. It's so obvious. I don't think it matters if he owns him or not. Trump's just been outplayed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if it doesn't own him. I mean, the Adelsons own him, and the Adelsons are Netanyahu. And
I'll tell you this: when the news broke Thursday night, I was thinking. There was a part of me that was almost relieved because I was thinking, thank God. Like, if the answer was Trump is just totally naive to the JQ, then maybe this will wake him up. But his response immediately after was, no, I was in on it. This was all planned. They didn't go behind my back. I knew about it, which was clearly him trying to save face. You know, that doesn't make any sense if that were true. I think he's just like Baby Uno says in chat, Donald Trump betrayed us. He said no more wars. I mean, if it's not intentional, it is just way too incompetent. And like, I mean, he has betrayed us in spirit, if not intentionally.
Yeah, Baby
on
Uno,
everything.
That's what Baby Uno
Immigration.
says. And a lot of people are saying this.
I agree.
Know that the most recent one I come across before we started this stream was Nick. He was saying MAGA influencers started with no new wars. Then it became we shouldn't go on offense against Iran. Now it's, hey, let's not boots on the ground. I trust Trump.
At least it's not.
At least it's not boots on the ground. I trust Trump. Trump got all of the angry white people to back the Uniparty plantation.
I mean, is he wrong?
Is he wrong?
I
think the answer is no. I mean, I can disagree with his some of the things that maybe led us here. But I think Nick is exactly right here.
I think there's an element of Trump who, as he admits, he's not a or like he is now essentially, but he was not a politician going into it 10 years ago. And I think, I mean, as a president and really leader of a country this size they have to shill out dole out responsibility to others. And I think he underestimated the swamp, the establishment, the synagogue, whatever you want to call it. And it infiltrated enough to trick him into believing the status quo. You know, it's like you and I both know the importance of language and how language can basically be used as a form of mind control. And it's like we were saying about my other job today is it's like you keep hearing Israel has the right to exist. Does it or does it not have the right to exist?
Yeah, Israel's got the right to exist, Josh. They got the right to exist. They got a right to our nukes. They got a right to our aircraft carriers. They got a right to our soldiers, our Marines, our airmen, our sailors. They have a right to their life. Israel has a right to the rest of the world. It's like Satan, when he tempts Jesus, says, I own everything, you can have it. Israel owns everything. They have it.
Okay, yeah. And basically, they're saying, like you said, is, well, if we have the right to exist, then we should exist. And to ensure we exist in any way, we have to not only exist, but we have to exist comfortably, which means we can't be afraid of our neighbors who we try to murder constantly, which means we have to defeat them in battle. And we can't do that on our own. We need our greatest ally, the United States, which we're better than morally, spiritually. And basically, you need to do whatever we say all the time, forever. And earthquake. Yeah, but basically, yeah. It's almost like hypnosis. You know, this is something. I'm seething a little bit here this morning. Or this afternoon. I'm seething because the host of the show I work for, and I have to be careful in case he sees this, but
I could feel Josh's anger through the radio this morning, dude. What everyone does, it's a very Jewish trait, is to frame the conversation in a way that is meaningless. They say, I start laying out this point about basically how Netanyahu betrayed us. And it goes, or I say Israel betrayed us, and I go, well, the people are against Netanyahu, and I go, well, it doesn't matter, and go, how could you say it doesn't matter? Of course it matters what the Israelis think. I'm like, not really. If this whole situation has only solidified Netanyahu's position as prime minister, then he is the leader, and what he says goes. In the same way, if Donald Trump all of a sudden was like, I'm a leftist now. I'm let's get the BLM protesters out there forever and ever. And we go, well, that's not what I voted for. Well, he's president for another 3.5 years. What are you going to do about it now? It's the point being is it's just a useless thing. And did you catch the hype? Like, he asked me, what would I do if I were in Trump's shoes? And I said,
I want to reestablish, we need to rein in Israel because they are the problem. And what I would say as a good faith payment to regain favor with Iran, which Trump has completely lost, is basically to say, the tail is no longer wagging the dog. Israel only, I would say it on TV, Israel only exists because of the United States, and they've pushed too far. We're taking back the nukes that they stole from us. And in so doing, we're getting stability in the region. Stability in the region would either be for Iran, would be for Iran to get nukes or for Israel to lose them. We have no, Israel, Iran is not our proxy. Israel is. We're taking the nukes from them. And if they threaten to destroy the world, well, then the whole world will see them for what they really are.
They don't deserve nukes, man.
Well, and then basically
they kept making this retarded case. Well, okay, everybody kept coming on. I guess we're gonna do a spiel about the radio station this morning. From this morning. I'm gonna dive into that.
None of them know what we're talking about. I'm
gonna try to explain it here in a second.
It's important.
We got a lot on the docket today. I got a lot to get through. I got retard Gadsad over here, basically Mossad. We're so infiltrated, dude. I mean, the list just goes on and on. You got Mark Levin. Dude, I listened to Mark Levin yesterday for like the first time ever. Like I know who he is.
I don't know how you survived.
No, I didn't. I was like, dude, I can't listen to this. Not only were the takes just horrible trash takes, like straight boomer neocon. Like it was bad. But it was hard to listen to.
Like, no, physically.
It was physically
hard to listen to because...
Do not listen to Mark Levin. Don't even try. It's not worth it.
I used to get paid to listen to him. I used to have to listen to his show.
Dude, you must have been making bank.
No. I turned the volume down just so I heard... Like, as long as I heard in the background, okay, we're not off the air.
Dude. Like anybody that tells you they've listened to Mark Levin, just tune them out.
No, yes.
Like it's not worth whatever comes out of their mouth next, not worth it. Not worth it.
And here's a little aside.
Bad.
Here's a little aside before you get in. I just want to say this because I know you'll get a kick out of this. So my boss, his take on Mark Levin shooting shots at Tucker Carlson was this. Well, clearly Mark Levin's doing this because he's trying to make himself more popular by punching up. That's the only reason Mark Levin would be firing shots at Tucker Carlson right now. I'm not kidding you. That's what he said.
I don't know where, like, how does any of this make sense? Because it doesn't. Like, what's in their head? Like, how do they hold all this together? I don't know how they do. But
I'll tell you how. They have their conclusion. Now I have to find a way to support it.
I have to justify my conclusion. Yeah, that's exactly.
And perfect example, when I was laying out my hypothetical of what I would do if I were Donald Trump.
This is beyond dispensationalism too.
Well, when I was laying out my hypothetical to what I would do with Israel if I was Donald Trump, the host says, he goes, well, what about Pakistan? They have nukes. Wouldn't they dominate the region? And I go, well, A, they're not saying they're going to, and India is basically a check to them. And then it was like, oh, well, that's that's like theoretical. You don't know that. I'm like, well, what you just said is theoretical. Like,
the whole thing is theoretical.
We're posturing here. We can speculate.
Did you make the case that the only people that should have nukes is U.S., Russia, and China?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's the
those are the ideally. I mean, obviously, if it were a picture perfect world, we would be the only ones that had them, but
it doesn't work like that.
But realistically, best case scenario would be the three major superpowers.
If you want stability in the Middle East, it's quite literally this simple: relocate Israel. That's all you got to do. It'll stabilize everything in the Middle East, not the West, the Middle East. But yeah, we got a little bit to get to. What's up, guys? UK Baptist in the chat. How we doing? I don't think we need to complicate things. Let's not pretend like this was planned a long time ago. Oh, it wasn't planned a long time ago. Iran is the last piece of the puzzle to Russia.
I don't think
it's the last piece of the puzzle to what would be greater Israel.
Right.
We've seen this coming for Desert Shield Storm like 1991. They really started kicking off. I mean, this is when we started fighting their wars was in 1991. Now we've committed a couple coups prior to that, but the actual war, boots on the ground, you're looking at Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and then into 9/11, OIF, OEF, into Afghanistan and Iraq. I mean, these are just pieces. You're right. You're right to see it as pieces to the puzzle. The puzzle is Greater Israel, and the pieces are individual countries. Iran is just one of the last ones that we will see gone. Go, Josh.
And everything strategically that you could accomplish from engaging Iran for the purpose of engaging Russia, you can do right now with Ukraine. Better. I mean, basically fighting a proxy war with Ukraine as our proxy, which is happening, you would accomplish more in damaging Russia doing that than they are with Iran. I mean, clearly, like, we know why we're going to war with Iran. It's obvious.
Yeah.
And it's because our government, our president, didn't want it to happen. And our greatest ally vetoed that decision.
I think they basically admitted that if we don't go to war with them, we'll force a coup. I think they basically, I'll have to find it, but I think somebody basically admitted that in the administration.
And dude, it's crazy. Some of the callers today and the co-host was basically saying, he goes, well, here's what scares me is people who adhere to Sharia law getting a nuke. And it's like,
oh yeah, that's what they kept saying.
Kidding?
I was
are
like,
you kidding me, dude? It's like, I don't even know. Like, there's no point. There's no point in even beginning. It's like trying to explain to a kid.
Even like they don't even think that Israel could possibly be an enemy. They could possibly be usurpers. Like they don't even think that. And that's an issue in itself. But even beyond that, they then layer that with greatest ally.
Well,
like,
yeah.
how do you go from a threat to greatest ally?
This is the excuse that I hear all the time. Israel is a strategic outpost in the region, and they basically, we're not actively at war with anybody. They are a good place for us to test our advanced weaponry. Here's the problem, though. A, they sell our weaponry to China. B, we're allies with Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, Egypt. There's not really a problem
here.
The
entire Mediterranean Sea. We have floating bases essentially all throughout the Mediterranean, all throughout the Red Sea, all throughout whatever that Gulf is called, Hormuz, the Strait of Hormuz, in there. All of the we have fleets of ships in the region. Like Israel isn't strategic any more than Jordan. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't. Like,
well,
it doesn't make sense.
I asked, how is it strategic? I go, well, I don't know. I just know it is because everyone says so. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Right, because that's all they are. They're built-in platitudes. That's all they say is things that they've heard. It's just a regurgitation machine. This is when we go back to Mark Levine. Mark Levine is the radio man. So whatever he says goes, and then everybody parrots that. I don't know how anybody listens to him. Let's
Fox News is cooked. I did not see a single headline
bad, dude.
that did not, that in regards to this, that did not have the word civilian in it. I swear to God, I tried to take a picture. There was a headline that goes, Iran bombs civilian military outpost. What does that mean? Like,
dude, Israel has been bombing Gaza with the under the asterisk of they're hiding combatants in there. Dude, they've been bombing hospitals and schools and everything else in Gaza for the last 2 years. It's like, bro, you're the one committing war crimes.
Well,
they're just retaliating.
And here's the funny thing is, I saw that, I think you sent it to me actually, but I can't quite remember. But it was a Twitter post by somebody that essentially showed that they could shoot a rocket into a specific hotel, like a specific apartment. And it was like, but they weren't doing that in Gaza?
Yeah. No, for sure.
And it's
I didn't send it to you, but that's how they took out. That's how they took out. That's the first couple shots in Iran. That's what it was.
Yeah.
They shot it through a window to take out a dude in a hotel room.
Yeah.
It's like,
and they couldn't do, and they go, well, we had to blow up an entire hospital that we had already captured.
Yeah.
because they're trying to force the Palestinians out of Gaza.
Well, they need to flatten
but-
it. They need to destroy it. Here's what you have to understand, because Israel understands this. If you want to change a system, it must be destroyed. You can't change systems unless you have a stronger power to create coups. Right? The system is built in, and the people within the system will sustain the system. So you either change the people with a stronger power, which the U.S. doesn't have in this context, or you destroy the entire system. In the context of this is that all of Gaza must be destroyed for it to be resettled. And the same thing applies with America. At least the political system.
Chris B, where'd you,
Right here, this one?
no, the bottom one. I mean, it's exactly that, where like the point is both sides are cooked. I mean, and we're not even talking about that. Like it's almost besides the point, but it's like even like definitely there's a difference, but the point being is they like Sheldon or Miriam Adelson and Bill Ackman, they donate to both sides. Why is that? Because they're really not that different at all. No politician on either side is going to run on the things that truly matter.
Need to bring. If anybody has an opportunity, go check out the AIPAC tracker. They got some. They just keep track of who all has collected AIPAC money, and it's a very good tracker to see that we are not a two-party system. We are controlled. But I mean, this kind of lends to my idea that the Democrat Party is going to be weak moving forward, and it can be taken over, but it's not going to be. And so if that was a possibility, if we were organized enough to do that, then the two-party system would then continue to exist. But it doesn't, because we just don't have the organization. And I think that takes centralization. We kind of had that debate the other day. It takes centralization to have that kind of organization. If you want to do it, I mean, that's a very, very tall task. Hotel was struck by a drone inside Iran. Israel may have assassins inside Iran using the regime opposition.
Well, they are. I mean, they are. But the point is like the Gaza Strip are neighbors. I'm not sure exactly what you're getting at here, but if the argument is that they couldn't have done it in Gaza because it was too far away. Iran's like 1,000 miles away. Gaza is in their backyard. You think they couldn't get some FPV drones in there with little grenades attached to them? I'm absolutely sure they could.
Yeah, I mean, I said missile. I mean, a drone is just a missile with little propellers at this point. I don't know if you've seen some of the stuff coming out of Russia, Ukraine. I mean, you can't. I'd say the drones are worse. You can't run from them. You can't hide from them. They don't go. Boom. They go. Oh, where are you?
Yeah.
Where are you? You know, there's no hiding.
From
there's
hell.
no running.
Did you see that one video? For some reason, I want to say it happened in China, but I don't know. It had to be Russia or Ukraine. But there were two soldiers in like this big sunflower field, and a drone flew down, like they were trying to shoot at it, and he intentionally flew between them, and then one guy shot the other dude. No.
Oh, really?
Trying to shoot the drone, he shot his partner and killed him.
I didn't see that.
And then he came in with the final blow.
I would say that was funny if it wasn't so terrible.
Yeah.
Baby Una says, I think we're at war with Iran.
What gave you that idea?
I wouldn't call it yet. We got a lot. I mean, there's a little bit that needs to happen before it actually happens. But I mean, we're far closer than I want to be. This is MTG yesterday. We're going to get to the Tucker Carlson bit too. He says, Tucker Carlson is one of my favorite people. He fiercely loves his wife, children, and our country. Since being fired by the neocon network Fox News, he has more popularity and viewers than ever before. He unapologetically believes the same things I do, that if I don't fight for our own country and our own people, then we no longer have a country for our children and our grandchildren. That sounds very...
surprisingly good take by Marjorie Taylor Greene. Took a while.
It sounds very Reichish. if you will. If we don't fight for our country and our own people, then we will no longer have a country for our children and our grandchildren. What's the 14 words, Josh? Do you know them?
I knew him.
Oh boy, we're gonna have to Google it. And foreign wars, intervention, regime change, put America last, kill innocent people, and making us broke, and will ultimately lead to our destruction. That's not kooky. I think that's in context of Mark Levine calling him kooky.
No. Donald Trump called him kooky.
Okay, so I got that tweet too.
He said Kooky Carlson. Someone needs to explain to Kooky Carlson that Iran cannot have a nuke.
This dude's just so bad, man.
I mean, he's cooked. He's too stupid to fix the problem.
I think he's caught between a rock and a hard place. His base is Tucker Carlson's.
Why say that though?
Is he in a K-hole like Elon was the other day? He's going to come out and apologize to everybody? I mean, why? I mean, well, I don't know.
Trump has flip-flopped more times in the past 2 weeks than ever before. Like
last 2 days.
Yeah, well, no, like I don't even know what he rescinded.
You know, he rescinded his don't arrest illegals from hotels and farms again. He rescinded that. He said, do it. It's like, make up your mind, bro.
Dude.
Are we going to war? Are we not?
Hey.
Are we arresting illegals? Are we not? Pick a side, dude. What did you campaign on?
Impeach Trump, replace him with Biden. They're both tripping up and down stairs now.
Dude. Would you risk a JD? I mean, I would. Would you risk a JD Vance presidency?
God, I would not. I mean, like,
so you're a no on impeachment.
No. Like Donald Trump, I don't know. I don't know what to think of him right now, but I know what I think about JD Vance. And if anything, like there was admittedly,
Josh, you're getting Palantir either way. Just suck it up.
You and I disagree about him a little bit, but I found some of the clips. I meant to send them to you and I just totally forgot. But the clips I was trying to find on his interview with Theo Vaughn just scared me, dude. Like Vance he's not our guy. Vance is
on the Theo
a total
Von
puppeteer of Peter Thiel. Yeah.
I mean, I don't doubt it. Well, what my position is not that JD Vance is our guy, which I do say that sometimes. This is a little bit hyperbolic. But sometimes the things that JD Vance says is what we say.
That's not good enough. And what that does is exactly what is happening, where he's tricking the base on our side into he's tricking them into following him, and then he's going to rug pull it. Because the fact of the matter is, unfortunately, rubes will always exist. If you were to bring everyone around to our way of thinking, that doesn't make them not the masses. That doesn't make them not rubes. They can still be and will still easily be fooled. If he's positioning himself as the spokesperson for people leaning that direction. But when it comes down to it, he can say whatever he wants, but what is he doing? He was playing the field when Trump and Elon had their spat.
Another thing is the vice president doesn't really have that much power. So doing really isn't measurable right now. I will tell you, you can contrast that with Mike Pence. Have you seen him? Have you seen what he went on Fox News yesterday? Did you see what he said?
No, what he said?
Dude, he was like, yeah, flatten Iran. We just need to carpet bomb them.
Great.
I mean, that could be your vice president if the fly didn't land on his head. But here we are. This is Bibi Netanyahu through the years. Nothing changes, boys. This is 1982 to start with.
If you take away the Soviet Union and its chief proxy, the PLO, international terrorism would collapse.
If you take out Saddam's regime, I guarantee you,
This is right after 9/11, chat.
that it will have enormous positive reverberations on the region. Obviously, we like to see a regime change, at least I would, in Iran, just as I would like to see in Iraq. The question now is a practical question. What is the best place to proceed? It's not a question of whether Iraq's regime should be taken out, but when should it be taken out? It's not a question of whether you'd like to see a regime change in Iran, but how do it...
Is there any other
Josh, we just need just a regime change.
Okay.
I'm just going to change the regime with nukes.
No. Just one more.
Just one more country. I know it's been like 8, but just one more.
That you would recommend that the United States launch preemptive attacks upon at this point?
The answer is categorically yes. The two nations that are vying, competing with each other, who will be the first to achieve nuclear
Sorry, chat. It's super loud on our end.
weapons is Iraq and Iran. But a third nation, by the way, is Libya as well. Libya is trying very rapidly to build an atomic bomb capability. So you have here now 3 nations. All stand together to stop.
Wait, when was that?
Trying very rapidly to build an atomic bomb capability. So you have here now 3 nations. All stand together to stop Iran's march of conquest,
2015.
subjugation, and terror. I know that no matter on which side of the aisle you sit, you stand with Israel.
He's right. Did they intentionally make it grainy? I feel like 2015 would have better camera quality than that.
It's probably TikTok. TikTok probably destroys it. Chat. I mean, this isn't anything new. I mean, we've been doing this for repetitively for years. I mean, on his in his court, whatever, however you the saying goes, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Josh.
I know, man. I mean, at least Ken is saying this sounds like everything we've ever heard for the past several years. It's like, yes, but they're still our greatest ally. Come on,
So that was Netanyahu. We got Pat Buchanan, 1991. You know we like a little bit of Pat Buchanan around here, boys. So we're gonna check this one out. I haven't even watched it, but always good stuff coming from him. To catch up, where are we at? A while back. We are guys talking like Trump is unaware of all this. He said he knew Israel was gonna bomb Iran weeks ago.
Yeah, he lied. Well, I don't believe him, because I think Donald Trump cares first and foremost about his reputation, and he ran on no new wars. And I think he wants. I think he's not selling us out. I think like you said, he's in a rock and a hard place. And basically, what's going on now is they went behind his back, but for him to admit that, like, would be catastrophic. So what he's trying to do is, and that's why he's flip-flopping. That's why because he basically, Iran is signaling they want to come back to the table, and so is he. Why would he do that if the first round of peace was just a trick? He said that to save his own ass. He said that to save face. And I think, like, he's figuring it out as he goes, and he's in a really tough situation, so he's just making shit up.
Yeah, somebody asked in the chat earlier, is Netanyahu a psychopath? I'm gonna be honest,
he's a sociopath.
I think almost every world leader, with like a rare exception, are sociopaths.
And I think that's almost necessary.
I think it is almost necessary. I think that's the only way you really get there. You have to have some level of narcissism to yourself to get there.
Well, to Sparky's last comment, I think Trump, he's definitely a boomer. He's bought onto all boomers, they come prepackaged with a love for Israel for, a myriad of reasons. I think he's trying to preserve that, and he thinks they are our allies. He does not realize how bad they are. And that's why I was saying earlier, I would have hoped that this betrayal would open his eyes, but it clearly had. I mean, he's 80-something years old. He's cooked.
Again, I mean, even during his first term of presidency, you had Kushner that ran all of his Middle Eastern policies, basically. Kushner's not going anywhere. I mean, doesn't have the title, but he's still at the house, dude.
Of course.
He's still sitting on the couch watching TV with old father-in-law.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, does he have any children that aren't Jewish? I think the Kai isn't Jewish. Did Eric marry? Not Eric. Don Jr. marry a Jew?
I wouldn't be surprised. Well,
I don't think
would.
Massey and Bernie Sanders are the only two in Congress I can think with a passing AIPAC rating. Bernie is a socialist. Marjorie Taylor Greene has $0 too. And UK Baptist said Massey is president. And on a earlier comment too, he said you guys need Massey as president. The problem with Massey is that he is a libertarian, and the problem with libertarians is that they're retarded. Massey does sound good. He's correct on a large swath of policies. And I've said this before, if you're going to have somebody in Congress, you want a Massey type in Congress. You don't want a Massey type as president. You want a Massey type in Congress, preferably during good times, because they don't get things done. You want a stagnant Congress when things are supposed to be the way that they are. Now, things aren't the way that they are, so you don't want Massey types in Congress. For instance, he is a no on largely immigration legislation. It's like he doesn't want to actually deport illegal immigrants. And this is a major issue.
He comes with his own baggage
Correct.
that, frankly, we just don't need.
Yeah, they all do.
What we like about Massey is that he's not bought out by Israel, but what he is bought out by is a bunch of retarded, shitty ideas. So it really, it's not even worth it. You know what I mean?
On Trump's first term, he had a radio interview saying Israel owned Congress. I don't think any of Trump's actions are naive or accidental. He's doing what he's getting paid for. I can agree with that. I think Trump knows to an extent that Israel has a
lot of leverage.
A lot of leverage. It seems that he doesn't understand that they control literally everything.
And I don't know if he even how does he see it as a bad thing? Because I mean, Jews know that they have so much leverage, but of course they see it as a good thing.
That's a good question, because a lot of them see Israel as Western also.
Well,
they see it as Western. Well, when they're not too, it's like I don't care if they're Western. If I had a bunch of Irishmen running the nation of America with Americans in it, that's an issue too. It's not that it's Israel necessarily that is an issue, but the issue is that it's non-Americans running America.
Right. And also, basically, it lends itself to this issue, which is Donald Trump. I mean, like it's with Ken, like my boss. I basically laid out to him, I was like, look, they have their hands in this industry and that industry, and look at here. I can't even talk about it on a rinky-dink station in the middle of South Carolina because our owners are Jewish. What does that tell you? But then, what does that revelation bump into? Well, Judeo-Christian principles. There are spiritual brothers, and it's like there's like they won't. It's not that they even can't. They won't let themselves get there.
It's sacrilegious to them.
It is. They have a spiritual pain response.
Right, because they worship at the feet of Judeo-Christianism. Whatever that means to them, that's what they worship. And I don't know how you define it. It's just like we were saying earlier, how do you define Israel has a right to exist? I don't know. They have something in their minds when you say that they think about. In the same way that they have something in their minds when you say Judeo-Christian that they think about. And whatever they think about is what they worship. UK Baptist asked, did Massey actually say he doesn't want to deport illegals? Yes, he said that. In the context of Elon and that Trump kind of beef, Elon didn't want to pass the bill. Massey didn't want to pass the bill because it had a bunch of spending in it.
He would consider it if we didn't have a spending crisis, which is never going to get resolved. Correct. Ergo, deportations will never happen.
He just wants to deport the criminals, which doesn't make any sense because if they're illegal immigrants, they're already criminals. But see, but Massey's position is that he doesn't want to increase the debt of the country, which is largely irrelevant, to deport the people that shouldn't be here, right? So what's the point in this? This is a libertarian crisis. What's the point of borders if we're not going to enforce them? If we don't have borders, we aren't a country. I mean, it all boils down to that. And so everybody is an American. Mr. UK Baptist, you're an American if we don't have borders. Congratulations. Jews are not our spiritual brothers. Their spirit is Antichrist. Well, it's quite literally Antichrist. I mean, I would argue that's exactly what they're trying to usher in right now. I mean, they're trying to start this war of Armageddon where they're being fired on from all sides. I mean, they literally attack everyone around them and say, oh no, poor me, America, come help. But it's like, yes, eventually you're going to catch the missiles from the north and the south. And there's going to be blood everywhere. Knock down a couple more of these, and then we'll jump into the video. Boomers can't accept their entire worldview has been compromised their whole lives. They stick with a disbeat support for them. Yeah. I mean, they can't start over. For them to start over is like incomprehensible. It's like they've been. Imagine
it can't be done.
Imagine you're on your deathbed and somebody tells you you've been wrong your entire life.
Imagine if God told you that. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Let's say you die. You're a Jew your entire life, and you get to heaven. You're like, I made it. And he goes, no, you've been wrong your entire life. Like how just destroying is that? That's basically what it is.
And you know what's funny? I would gather, I wouldn't be surprised if your average boomer questioned their faith in Christ more than they question their faith in Israel.
The post-war consensus.
Yes,
for sure. You know why?
I guarantee a majority of them have never doubted it once.
Because the TV man told them to. The TV man said it. That means it's real. It's true. The TV man said so. Massing is saying if you enter illegally, you should get deported, but not bankrupting the country. Well, those are contradictory statements. He's saying you shouldn't enter illegally, but they're gonna enter illegally.
Yeah,
but and then on top of that, he's saying that we don't need to deport them unless they actually commit a crime, right? And this is your catch-22 that you have. If you're saying they shouldn't enter illegally, I agree. Good on him, but they do enter illegally, and then you don't deport them. That's the problem. And so, and again, we have laws all throughout this country that we don't enforce, and those unenforced laws aren't really laws. It doesn't matter because they're not enforced. And so the same thing goes for the border. If you don't enforce the border, then it doesn't exist. Let's look at old Pat Buchanan, 1991.
Said on the McLaughlin Group in response to a question, Jim. They said, do you think that the Congress of the United States will resist this demand for further aid? I said, through a crack I'd heard. I said, no, the Congress of the United States is Israeli-occupied territory. What I meant by that is the most powerful lobby in Washington, which Congress can't stand up to, one of the most powerful, is certainly the pro-Israeli lobby. It has gotten its way in this town year in and year out. And I don't think the automatic votes of the Congress of the United States for $3 and $4 billion worth of aid to Israel are necessarily in the national interest of the United States. And that comment, which is to ridicule the subservience of the Congress of the United States, is perfectly valid. I do not believe my government should subsidize Israeli socialism, which we have done, and I do not believe we should subsidize a policy on the West Bank of the Jordan River which denies the Palestinian people rights which I support from Lithuania to Croatia. But if I also believe that Pat Buchanan is entitled to stand up and speak out against any kind of political lobby, whether it's the Greek lobby, Aid for Greece, or whether it's the pro-Israeli lobby.
I mean, what Pat Buchanan is saying is exactly the same thing that the Nixon tapes, that Nixon was saying on his secretly recorded tapes in like early 1970. We've been occupied for over 50 years.
Yeah.
Lobby aid for Israel without being called vile names.
And you think that's what's happened to you?
Let me tell you something, Jim. When this little flap is 18 months old,
Well,
I made this crack. I know Buckley's talking about an 18-month-old column. Let's forget that. When this broke, I made that wiseacre crack about the Amen Corner. It was wiseacre, and it was very funny. You know what happened as a consequence of that? People called my newspapers that carried my column and said, drop Buchanan. AIPAC listed 5 conservative columnists who were accepted.
The Jewish lobby,
No, the
right?
pro-Israeli lobby,
Pro-Israeli
right.
lobby.
I went out to speak in the country, and a little girl from the junior league said, I get these horrible calls from New York about you. There are individuals who are pro-Israeli, go around the country and speak in synagogues and say, call CNN and get Pat Buchanan taken off the air. Those kinds of tactics, in my judgment, are un-American. They are done in the name of the First Amendment, and they violate the spirit of the First Amendment. You know me. I've been in this town for 25 years, 30 years. I am controversial. I am sometimes insensitive. I am tough, and I am hard. But I think that this type of thing is beyond the pale.
Well, it goes basically, this whole discussion lends itself to what we have said is foreigners can't assimilate. Not that they won't, not that they don't try to, they cannot. And the Jews are a perfect example. They are self-interested.
They are very self-interested. I think they're the extreme example to give some credence to some of the others that may actually try. The Jews don't actually try. I mean, look at someone like Ben Shapiro. He's been noticeably quiet today. But look at someone like Ben Shapiro, where he has a massive, massive company, the Daily Wire. They're operating out of wherever they were operating. I can't remember, but they didn't like the policies. And so they moved headquarters.
Nashville.
They moved it to Nashville from wherever they were.
Well, didn't he? Okay, the headquarters is in Nashville, but he moved to Florida.
Yeah, so they moved to Nashville. He tried to live there, and he had to move to Florida because there, quote unquote, weren't enough Jews in Nashville. Right? Are you telling me you're an American, but you can't live somewhere because there's not enough Jews in that location? And so the question is, where are there enough Jews? And he lives in essentially a massive gated community of Jews. They have, I don't know, call it a foreign intelligence base in Florida. That's what they're doing. I mean, it's a compound of Jews in America. Is that not an Israeli
literally a settler
base?
colony? A settler colony.
It is. It's exactly what it is.
And I assume since they're in the same neighborhood as Ben Shapiro, I think it's safe to say they're not influential.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, Ben Shapiro probably makes, what, $100 million a year?
Easily.
He probably clears closer to 30. He himself probably clears closer to 30.
Yeah, I don't know the numbers on Daily Wire. I mean,
no, the numbers might be off now. I'm thinking like a year or two ago. I mean, they've gone south recently, but that's just, I mean, we're talking about assimilation. We're talking about Jews. I mean, they literally have a forward operating base in America. I mean, what is Silicon Valley, if you will? You know, I did want to get to this eventually too, but since Baby you already commented it, I'm gonna answer it. Why can Israel have WMDs, but Iran can't, Josh? Did you get that text I sent you earlier today?
Oh, yeah. Because they stole them.
Because they stole them. But, I mean, basically, that's the answer.
Yeah, that's how they got them.
That's how they got them.
But, like, and I told Ken this morning, I said, did you know that, you know who David Ben-Gurion is?
I have no idea.
He
sounds Jewish.
Yes. He was the first leader of Israel in 1948.
Yeah.
And he was like their George Washington. And I was like, you know who he is? And he goes, yeah. I go, you know that he resigned suddenly? And he goes, I had heard that. And I go, do you know why? He goes, no. And I go, nobody does. He did not tell anyone till the day he died. But John F. Kennedy they were basically doing everything they could, working with what's his name in the CIA to try and get a nuclear bomb. They were trying to doing what Iran is doing now, where they had a civilian nuclear program. I don't know if they had a space program. Probably not back then, but they had basically at the time the machinations of working on a nuclear bomb. And Kennedy didn't want that. You know, the doctrine at the time was no nuclear proliferation anywhere.
Yeah.
And so he goes, we want inspections. And David Ben-Gurion is like, oh, of course. He's dragging his feet. They're giving him and you know the whole story about how they made a fake facility to show to the United States inspectors. And so Kennedy gets pissed and he sends him an ultimatum. He goes, we will no longer support you unless you cater to our demands. The next day, David Ben-Gurion resigns. No one will say why. It was revealed later that was the same time he got that letter. 3 months later, JFK is dead.
Yeah, I mean, the JFK stuff is obviously tied to Israel, and in that way, in the same way that Israel isn't signed on to the global nuclear treaties. This is why they're able to have nukes, because they haven't agreed to not have nukes. Iran basically has. Iran has to have inspections of their nuclear facilities, right? This is what you just said. Mm-hmm. Israel had to have inspection on their nuclear facilities, so they built a fake nuclear facility to say that we don't have nukes. I mean, this is a major issue. And I mean, I guess the answer to the question directly of why can Israel have WMDs but Iran can't, on top of many things of Israel's influence, is that they haven't said that we're not going to have it. We're not going to have nukes, right? That in itself is an issue. Sparky said just in, Iran just told Israelis to evacuate Haifa.
Get out of there.
I mean, to me, it looks like Iran's not going to let up. I mean, we were talking yesterday. We didn't do a live stream yesterday. Me and Josh were talking yesterday, and they sent like 30 missiles and like 9 landed. And I was like, dude, the Iron Dome is garbage. Like, if I'm sending 30 shots and 9 hit, like, I'll take that on a battlefield and a basketball court. I mean, those are solid numbers, I feel like, at least for me.
Yeah.
I can't shoot.
Yeah.
I'll take 9 out of 30. Baseball field, 9 out of 30.
Critical hit.
You're betting like a 290. That's almost Hall of Fame stats.
If someone was shooting at me 30 times and 9 hit, I still wouldn't be. I would consider that a success.
Jim from Florence, welcoming him back. Who wants to bet Trump was negotiating an oil deal with Iran, pissing off Israel, thus they bombed the oil fields?
I don't think we can say that with any definitiveness, but I would not be surprised to find that out.
I'm sure oil is involved here.
However, I don't think you need...
Yeah.
It makes sense why Israel would bomb their oil fields anyway. It has nothing to do the whole like we have to stop them from getting a nuke. That is pretext. That is not the problem. They're seeking regime change and they're basically trying to overthrow the Iranian government, and bombing their oil fields, one of the main lucrative exports they have, is a way to do that.
Yeah, so I'm trying to scroll. There's a lot going on in chat too. UK Baptist said, just saw news America will be directly involved now. I don't know. Don't want to confirm that yet, but it is definitely looking like that is what's going to happen. Here's what you need to understand on top of all this, man, is some of it might seem like it's not real. Like it's so far away from us that it's not really going on. And that's an issue that I've come across before, is like, I don't really feel anything when it's across the world.
Yeah.
And I don't think I should. Not really.
I don't think you could be blamed for it.
But now how does that work if I'm sending my troops, my brothers, across the world to fight a war that I feel nothing for?
Yeah, it's hard to... And especially if this war, if there's no troops on the ground, if it's simply bombing runs and drone attacks, then the only backlash it has, which is still bad, is the effect it'll have on our credibility and our economy.
Yeah.
Which still is not good.
So this happened a little earlier. This is 4 hours ago. It was a little bit before then. Trump basically told Tehran to evacuate. I think it's something like 16 million people live in the Tehran suburbs. That in itself is an act of war. I mean, why is a president of the United States saying that? And two, if UK Baptist is correct, no, who said Haifa? Sparky. If Sparky's correct and they're saying to evacuate Haifa, I mean, they're just going to let it fly from now on, dude. Tehran has better roads than Philadelphia. That's funny. This is from a little while ago, too. Oh, boy. Donald Trump says, Josh, you read it.
We now have complete and total control over the skies of Iran. Iran had good sky trackers and other defensive equipment and plenty of it, but it doesn't compare to American-made, conceived, and manufactured stuff. Nobody does it better than the good old USA.
Let me translate that for you, chap. Lockheed Martin, Boeing, who else? Raytheon. Control everything in the sky. Iran had good sky trackers and other defensive equipment and plenty of it, but it doesn't compare to the American-made, conceived, and manufactured stuff. Nobody does it with. Yeah, I mean, this is basically flexing the military-industrial complex. Our billions of dollars funneled into, which I'm not opposed to funding the military, even at the rate that we do. What I'm opposed to is using it to fight a war that isn't ours. This isn't hard, Josh. Beware of foreign influence. Yeah, we've come a long way, dude. I don't know, chat. I don't know. Probably don't need. What's she talking about now?
You know what would be a good question for me to ask him? Is would you be against foreign influence even if their values completely aligned with yours? Would you?
No. Because it would still be foreign influence.
Exactly. Yeah. And here's the thing, there's no guarantee they will always align.
Well, I wouldn't even put the weight on the values itself.
Yeah, that's fair too.
Or even saying that, right, this is the thing that they say Americanism or American is an idea. You know, anybody can become an American. And this is the problem. This is the same concept that basically the question you just asked is, if your values align, it's like, is Vivek Ramaswamy, should he be in office?
No.
The answer is obviously no. At least verbally, and I'll even take that for granted. I'll give him what he says to be what he believes to be true. Even if you grant him that, he doesn't or shouldn't have position or influence in America.
Right. And that's, I mean, there's nothing racist about it. It is simply like for the same reason he would be against you running a province in India. Because you're not Indian.
And he should be against me running a province in India. This stuff isn't hard. Like I said, we're going to get to Tucker and Mark Levine. I don't know if you just joining in. I was telling Josh I listened to Mark Levine the other day because it was on my app. I listen to Josh and Ken in the morning on the app, and sometimes when I get in the truck, it auto plays. And Mark Levine was on. I was like, dude, I was listening to it. I didn't know who it was at first because I've never listened to him. And about 5 minutes in, it played a commercial and said Mark Levine show. I was like, dude, this is a struggle to listen to. Like I wonder if he talks in this clip. I wonder if they talk in this clip because it's just painful to listen to. This is Tucker Carlson on Steve Bannon's War Room. I believe yesterday.
You really think that Mark Levin cares how many Somalis are in Minnesota? No, not at all. The more the better. All he cares about is the projection of force, using American service personnel to fight faraway wars that have no material benefit, in fact, have massive downside for the United States. That's his whole orientation.
But why is that the platform of Fox though? It's just not Mark. Why is Fox like all weekend? It's just cheerleading. It's exact. You can play side by side Iraq in 2003.
Oh, I was there.
And here and what's happening today? Why is it that? Why is this apparatus?
Well, Levin's the funniest because he's terrible on TV. And again, I never had any problems with him at Fox. He kind of controls Hannity in this weird way. I never understood what that was about. I never really cared.
Dude, Hannity's been all over the place too.
Always nice, and so was Levin. So I just like kind of stayed away. But they didn't want to put him on TV because he's like screechy and he's just not a calming presence. Not coming on TV, like. Oh my, unless you're literally floating in and out of consciousness and the attendant has taken the remote to go have a cigarette, you're gonna flip the channel when Michael Levin gets on TV. It's like,
yeah, I mean, Tucker's exactly correct here. Dude, he's so correct here. That's exactly my thoughts yesterday. When I was listening to him for like 5-10 minutes, I was like, dude, like I wanted to listen to him just to get an idea of where these people are coming from. And I just, like, I physically couldn't do it. It hurt.
I know. I mean, like you gotta find a clip of Levin.
I think he responds to Tucker in this clip. I'm not sure.
Cause it's like, yeah, Tucker's absolutely right. Like, it's astonishing they let this guy anywhere near a camera at all. He's literally got, I mean, I know they intentionally found a bad thumbnail, but he just looks like that. Like, he's got the Kubrick stare, and his voice alone is just unnerving.
Let me ask you this.
It's like nails on a chalkboard.
Let me ask you this. Somebody like Tucker Carlson that grew up in Fox, well, he started in MSNBC, dividing line, crossing line, whatever it was, and then went to Fox News. He stayed there for a long time, and now he's on his own. He's kind of gone this, I talk about this Pat Buchanan arc. This is a Tucker Carlson arc. It's the same thing. Does someone like Tucker Carlson that was pro-Iraq war, pro-Afghanistan war, that held all of these neocon positions for decades, does that now give him, I know your position on Tucker Carlson as a CIA spook, but does that now give someone like that more credibility when they kind of change their mind?
Not with me, but to the average person, yes. But here's my point though. Well, I mean, do we want to hash that out again? Because
can you do it without calling him CIA spook? I mean,
we'll move on. We'll move on. Okay, well, I'll say this. It's kind of like with Nala. You know who Nala is?
I know exactly who Nala is.
Yeah, I bet you do.
I'm
kidding. But it's like when you admit to being wrong, but that admittance gains you more credibility, it kind of calls into question the authenticity of it. Doesn't mean it's ingenuine.
When you leverage what should be consequences against you for your financial or personal gain,
yes,
I agree.
So even if you don't think Tucker is CIA, you could argue that he does it because he sees where the wind is blowing. He sees that your Gen Z, your average Gen Z Zoomer, is not going to be watching Mark Levin, so he doesn't want to be lopped in with him. He wants to kind of get with the times because he likes money. Yeah, I mean, you could argue all sorts of things. I mean, yeah. What up, Ninja?
Crispy said Tucker Carlson recently apologized for his neocon stance and how he changed. Yeah, I mean, he's done that for a while. I mean, at least in the last 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 years, he's kind of, you could say that's probably why Fox got rid of him, because he was kind of changing his stance on that. Which, I mean, that would probably give it more credibility than the arc itself. Ninja, welcome to the chat. I guess they're debating in chat. Let me know who wins. Let me finish.
I'd say go to Sparky's last comment. I just wanted to say about this is we're not dick riding Trump. We're like, I said he was an idiot. I said he's either like intentionally selling us out or he's just too stupid to realize what's going on. I think it's the latter.
I think he's talking to Ninja, but Trump is putting America into another Iraq war, and all you can do is simp for him.
Oh, at Ninja, I didn't see that.
Yeah, Ninja, don't do that. I doubt Ninja is doing that.
I bet
he's not a fan of the Jews.
Yeah,
and alimony payments, it's like not appealing. So they wouldn't put him on TV, and then Sean pushed, and they gave him some kind of weekend show that nobody watched. Now I don't have a TV, but someone was just who owns a TV was just telling me that he's like all over prime time. So what is that? That's not by popular acclaim. That's not like their viewer surveys. Like, we need a lot more Mark Levin. Less Jesse Waters, more Mark Levin. Mark Levin! What they're doing is what they always do, which is just turning up the propaganda hose to full blast and just trying to, knock elderly Fox viewers off their feet and make them submit to a new war that's not in their interest.
This is where the population, the voters, are ahead of the political class and the media. The American people do not want any more engagement in a foreign war. They saw Iraq, they saw Afghanistan. We're just out.
I think because they're racist. Is that what you're saying? They're just bigots. And I just want to say for Zelensky.
Yeah. Okay. I guess Mark Levin doesn't talk in here, but it's a struggle to listen to, man.
I mean, it sounds like propaganda. Like if you heard Mark Levin, it would sound racist. It'd be like Les Grossman from Tropic Thunder. It's like a racist caricature of a Jew. But he's real.
Yeah, if you mock him as racist. Jim says the problem in 2003 propaganda was able to be successful because there was no real competition to legacy media.
Right. And now
I would also say that, and I read something along this lines the other day, is that this applies to the boomers. The boomers are going to die out pretty soon. The Mark Levin listeners aren't going to exist in 10 years. So they're going to have to deal with the Gen Zs that's coming up. But the boomers don't deserve the internet. They aren't wise enough to use it. And I say that in the context of they don't have a built-in filter to question what they see on a screen because they've been pushed this authority through the TV man, Mark Levin or whoever it was at the time, that they just accept the thing as it is. They don't question, is it propaganda? And so when you have a fire hose of Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, you can kind of sift through it maybe a little bit, but they don't question the underlying everything, especially when they all agree on one thing, and that is go to war for Israel. And then when you have the internet come along and there's no filter at all, everybody's an influencer. They don't have any filter and they just accept everything as is. They don't deserve the internet, just like India doesn't deserve the internet in a different context. Stray shots. Accept it. Does that make sense, Josh?
No, I agree. I mean, I've seen like, and listen, we've all got boomer family members. I've seen a member from the church I grew up in who I love. They're a great person, but this was like a few years ago when AI wasn't even good. And they were like, this was last year. There's a Hurricane Helene, and it was the most, for me to say it was obviously AI, it looked like a cartoon. And it was someone holding up a puppy, and they were like, "Look how sad this is."
Like that
and I was
Facebook,
like,
dude.
And it was another old person was like, "This is AI," and they're like, "Oh, how can you tell?" And I'm like, "You're cooked, dude." I mean, like if I had the picture, you'd think I was lying to you.
Baby Yoon was throwing out a couple names there. He said only Candace and Tucker are the more genuines on the right, and then he goes on to say Charlie Kirk is horrible. He just stick to debating students. Yeah, but Charlie Kirk's got to stick away. He's got to get away from the Ivy League schools, dude. He got. Did you see any of those clips?
Yeah,
he got it handed to him from the Ivy League.
And some of them was like he got his ass kicked over stuff like arguments that we would have won. Yeah, like where the guy was like, "Well, no, DNA is created when a baby is born, so nothing.
Yes.
There's nothing special." And it's like we're not saying that DNA is created. We're saying it is alive.
Well, it was like I was telling my wife. She likes Charlie Kirk, and which is fine. I think Charlie Kirk is good.
He's entertaining
for the normies. Charlie Kirk's position is to be a bridge, just like the Daily Wire's position was to be a bridge. But you have to understand the arguments that Charlie Kirk loses is arguments that would be won if he was further right.
Right.
And so at some point, Charlie Kirk has to go, maybe those guys I was calling a Nazi are right. Brandon, what's up? Welcome to the chat, brother.
What up, Brandon? I don't think I've seen him before.
I feel like I did. I did feel like he's
or if it was a while ago.
Got a couple more to get to. This is Matt Gaetz talking about. Let me get it pulled up, and then I want to try to find the. I got a couple of things to say about Matt Gaetz before we get started in this thing. Matt Gaetz would have released the Epstein files, with or without Trump on them. Agree or disagree, Josh?
I agree. Honestly, I'm not like a crazy fan of Matt Gaetz, but I don't.
Me either.
But I don't have a problem with him.
I think he's willing to do whatever needs to be done.
And also, like, some of the allegations, I either A, don't believe or don't care.
Correct. Yes.
Like oh, he slept with a 17-year-old girl.
Yeah. And
okay,
he was in like early college or something at that point.
He was in college?
I think so, something like that, or
okay,
just out of college. But even
cares?
then, it was a Jewish defendant, a Jewish attorney that like brought the charges against him. It's like, dude, how obvious do you want it to be?
Pretty obvious. They can't help themselves.
Yeah, I don't know why there's a rise in anti-Semitism. I just for the life of me, I can't figure it out.
And it's so funny is it's like we're almost screaming into the void because it's almost unnecessary. Like your average person is noticing. And it's like you know what it is? Like it's Dave Portnoy. It's they can't help themselves.
They can't help themselves, dude. Their arrogance is baffling.
Literally, if they, like the F the Jews sign, in that if Dave Portnoy had just said, no big deal, that would have we'd probably have people as soldiers on the ground right now in Iran. But like they just can't help themselves. 17 is fine in SC, right?
I'm not sure what we're talking about.
I think they're fun.
What are we? That was in Florida. When the students mentioned Israel, when the students mentioned Israel, Charlie Kirk crashes out. I think Kirk is very right. He just loves Israel too much. He is I'm not saying he's not very right. He's just not far enough right. I think he believes the things that we believe, but he doesn't say them because he's not able to, because he loses everything that he's built. I think he knows that we're right, but he has to stand on his positions or he loses Turning Point, which is his. And granted, he built it essentially from the ground up with or without funding. Yeah, I think it's it's impressive what he's built with Israel or without Israel funding.
Right.
Depends on the professors. Kurt loses when he debates professors, especially on the Israel and Ukraine issue. It depends on the professors. It depends on what position they're arguing from. Rarely does he get argued from on the right against, but when it does, it's usually a little bit of a better debate than from the left. Frank Jim says, what did he say? I didn't read it.
We kind of...
Can we talk about the continuous misuse of Judeo-Christian on our favorite radio talk show host?
We actually kind of talked about that already.
We did.
You got to rewind to the beginning of the show.
I think we did a whole show on Judeo-Christian a while back. These Judeo-Christian values, Josh. These Judeo-Christian values, they align, the Judeo and the Christian values, they align so much that we have to have a completely new term and put them together for them to exist in the same spot.
Right.
They're so completely different that we can't even construe the concept in Christian or in Judeo. It has to be both.
Ask Ben Shapiro how he feels about turning the other cheek to the Iranians or forgiving your enemies.
Yeah, ask Ben Shapiro if he would be the Samaritan. It's not going to happen. It's not.
Well, and that's the thing, because Jim, you kind of missed it, but basically the point we made earlier, I'm not going to totally reiterate it, but it essentially was, I was talking with the host, and you could explain to them, and I did, that there is a fifth column in the United States of a foreign lobby controlling our government. And he goes, well, but we are like spiritual brothers and we align with them. You know, basically, like what was it? The post-war consensus. The backdrop is the moral framework that Judeo-Christian. We're one and the same. You know, our morality comes from the same place. We worship the same God. No, we don't. We do not.
No, we exactly do not. I mean, they literally worship Satan, right?
Literally.
I don't know if you. I don't know.
It's
if any
not
of y'all
hyperbole.
Seen,
That is not hyperbole.
I don't know if y'all have seen the image of the Iron Dome shooting out missiles coming from Iran. Somebody had labeled it Yahweh versus Allah, and I was gonna take it and repurpose it and just put Moloch versus Baal, because that's what it is. I mean, they worship the same demon god.
Pretty
they
much.
do. Jim followed up. The term was coined to describe ethnic Jews who were Christian. And I mean,
I've heard like nowadays so it's like Messianic
Jews. And this is an issue I take with Messianic Jews. Like,
just be a Christian.
Are you a Christian or are you a Jew? You have to give up one.
Right.
You cannot be both.
You could say I'm ethnic, like my grandmother was Jewish.
No.
Like ethnically, in the same way, like I'm Dutch, you're what, like
Not the same.
You don't think so?
Nope.
Well, I mean, like they'd say, what are you? It's like, I'm Christian. No, what are you ethnically? Oh, Jewish.
No.
What should they say then?
Don't say it at all.
That's more suspicious.
You got to renounce your DNA. Sorry, brother.
They gotta CRISPR that crap out of there.
Ready, set, go. You got a couple options.
Go into character creator mode and shrink the nose down.
No, we need to ban rhinoplasties too. Anyway, they make Abrahamic carry so much weight. Well, Abraham was not a Jew, Josh. Do you know that?
I did know that.
Okay.
I did know that. He was what, Canaanite?
Well, I mean, Israel wasn't created because Jacob was Israel.
Right.
And
he was
Isaac wasn't
Sumerian.
a Jew either.
Who knows?
This is a thing though, man. It's like it's all wordplay. It's all wordplay. Most of them aren't even real Jews nowadays anyway. They're Ashkenazi, which is like half and half. They just leverage everything they have against it. It's so convoluted. I mean, the entire belief system is more commie tactics. Well, they are Jewish. Commies are Jewish, and Jews are commies.
It's wordplay. It's linguistic hypnosis.
Was it created in the 1800s? I figured it would maybe late 1800s. To groom Americans loving Jews throughout history. I don't know if it was created to love Jews. I think it was created to leverage the coming Israel, right? The coming state, the Balfour Declaration that followed it into its inception of Israel. Spellcasting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's all wordplay. It's all leftist wordplay. Let's jump into this Matt Gaetz thing.
I'm old enough to remember the last time Israel coaxed the United States into a regime change war in the Middle East. Listen to now Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu tell us in 2002 that invading Iraq would be a good choice.
This thing up, boys.
It's not a question of whether Iraq's regime should be taken out, but when should it be taken out? I think the choice of Iraq is a good choice. It's the right choice.
No, actually, it was a terrible decision to invade Iraq. A terrible decision, and history doesn't exactly vindicate Netanyahu's claims by comparison.
If you take out Saddam's regime, I guarantee you that it will have enormous positive reverberations on the region.
Oh, a guarantee. What is the nature of the guarantee that Netanyahu offered here? Is it a money-back guarantee? Is Israel going to refund the $3 trillion that America spent in Iraq? The reality is that Bibi's guarantees are BS. They aren't backed by anything other than more phony claims.
There is no question whatsoever.
That's a good position, Josh. He said, "Are they going to refund the $3 trillion that we spent in Iraq?" It's like all of these Massey and the debt ceiling types that are so worried about national debt will continue to give money to Israel to continue to fight foreign wars, but will never demand the money back from what we've liberated people from, specifically defense of Israel. It's like all of these people want their cake and eat it too.
That Saddam is seeking and is working and is advancing towards the development of nuclear weapons. No question whatsoever. And there is no question that once he acquires it, history shifts immediately.
Watching these clips that are more than 20 years old, does it make you feel like the Israel foreign policy seduction of the United States is some sort of regime change Mad Lib, where they just say, like, fill in country here, probably getting nuclear weapons, join us in some destabilizing effort? Netanyahu wasn't telling the truth about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And not only did the United States believe him, we parroted his lies to the world. The last time America listened to Netanyahu based on false claims of weapons of mass destruction, we ended up pouring cash and blood all over the sands of Mesopotamia. And in the end, it only made Iran stronger. And now they're trying to get us into war with Iran. I am not offering a defense of the Islamic Republic of Iran. As a former member of the Congressional Armed Services Committee, I know that Iran is evil. They attack our troops in Iraq. They undermine the safety of global shipping. They fund mischief around the world. But regime change in Iran or Iraq or Afghanistan or Libya or Syria, it does not result in the eruption of some Jeffersonian democracy or country that's a new signatory to the Abraham Accords. The reality is that regime change in the Middle East often leads to civil war, sectarian violence, and the slaughter of religious minorities, and way more terrorism. That's exactly what I'm predicting here. Israel is pursuing regime change in Iran. That is the true goal of this campaign. They're already saying as much. Just check out this Reuters report where Israel freely acknowledges that regime change is on the table. And things seem to have gone well past denuclearization when you're talking about assassinating a foreign leader. Axios is reporting that President Trump had to veto Israel's plans to execute the supreme leader of Iran. At this stage of the war, Israel has already killed off Iran's military leadership. They've aspired to kill off Khomeini, and they have established air superiority. At this pace, the war is probably going to end in regime change. We're actually rather successful at initially dislodging a foreign government. It's what comes next that has flummoxed Uncle Sam. Does America really want to be Israel's dance partner to this siren song again?
That's good. That's good stuff.
Matt Gaetz got kicked out of Congress, and now he's got a show.
Well, he's good at it. I mean,
yeah. Well, I'd rather have Gaetz than Cash, Bongino, Bondi, any of them. It's like, give me somebody that's willing to do something. Put me a male American in office. Like, how hard is that? Male American in the offices.
They will do anything. I mean, look what happened to Madison Cawthorn. They will do anything. They'll drum up. They'll 3D print some woman to just say that you raped her. If you had ever spoken to a woman in your past, they will get her to say that you raped her.
Yeah, I don't know what you do, man.
You either have to run someone against all these people all at once, or tear down the system.
Even if you ran against them all at once, it doesn't matter. They have infinite pockets. Baby Owner says, guys, let's admit Trump is not the guy to run the country. He's just a puppet for the Zionists. I mean, if he is practice, or if he isn't, I don't think it matters.
The problem is like, like Kamala would do the same thing. I don't think we're actually losing. Like I told you, I mean, I didn't vote for Trump. You know, I'm not like, I don't know about you, I'm not like surprised at all that this is happening. I figured we were going to get war with Iran anyway. Yeah, no matter who it was.
Okay, so let me see if I can put this into perspective a little bit too. During Biden administration, Russia invaded Ukraine. And everybody said if Trump was president, Russia wouldn't have invaded Ukraine. I think that's true. I think that's largely true. But if Israel wanted to invade Iran during Biden's presidency, guess what? They would have done that too. There's a difference between Israel causing strife in the Middle East to American boots on the ground and Russia taking back territory. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it all boils down to influence in Congress. Russia doesn't have the influence that Israel does in our Congress. And therefore, it doesn't matter if Trump's there. It doesn't matter who. I mean, you could put Dan Bilzerian in the presidency seat. It still happens. There's only so much a president can do. This is why we advocate for a monarchy. Give me the authoritarian. That's how you fix this. And that's the next system. After all these boomers die out, I was going to do a No Kings protest stream. It was basically all boomers. I mean, there was like 85% boomers there. Once these boomers die out, we're getting a king. Congratulations, you're getting a king. It might be a czar, it might be an emperor, it might be a king, it might be I don't know. It's going to be somebody that is singularly in power.
You ever see Captain America, Winter Soldier, you like Marvel, right?
Yeah.
They're going to have Lindsey Graham in the basement of the Pentagon, like hooked up to a bunch of computers, and his consciousness will live on forever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you have 430 Lindsey Grahams in Congress, it doesn't matter who the president is.
Exactly.
Which we basically do. This is Gadsad. I don't know if anybody knows who this is, but I mean, he's got a little bit of influence. I mean, these are all Mossad types. We're going to listen to a couple seconds of this. Anyway.
In the book, you let the cat out of the bag. You're actually a Mossad agent.
Oh, you are the first person on my media tour to actually either have read that far into the book or to mention it. I thought it would be the top story in every show.
This is serious. This is serious stuff, and most people, they're not as candid about this stuff.
I thought that maybe I had extended the statute of limitation, that they won't come after me at this point. Do you want me to tell that story?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So that actually is something that I discuss in the chapter on play, the importance of living your life with a playful mindset. Now you might say, how does the Mossad fit with play? Well, so when I was about 18 years old, I had a cousin who had come from Israel, who said, hey, I have a friend of mine who would like to meet you, to chat with you. I'm thinking, for what purpose? So, he'll talk to you. So I meet this gentleman. He says, there are some guys who would like to meet you and see if you're interested in working with them. And so I meet these gentlemen who don't introduce themselves as being Mossad agents or whatever. They say, we're interested in checking the quality of our security in various environments. Would you be interested in being the person who does some of these tests for us? I said, okay, tell me more. So the first mission that I went on was I was asked to go to an El Al office in downtown Montreal, walk in there. Everything was scripted. They told me exactly what to do. Walk in with a bag, ask some questions, then take the bag, leave it there, and end up leaving without taking the bag.
Did you actually look in the bag before?
I did not look in the bag. I'd like to think that there weren't any bombs. And so I did that, and then a security person came. Oh, you forgot your bag, and so on. So the test was done successfully. I don't remember exactly how long after. A couple of weeks later, they asked to meet me again. They said, we have a more challenging mission for you. You are now a student at, I think it was University of Montreal. It's a fake story that they're asking me to play a role.
You want to listen to the rest of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Working on a paper, whatever, Israeli-Palestinian conflict. You'd like to interview the Israeli consul in Montreal. And what we're going to do is in your glove, Montreal is a very cold place. In your gloves, there's going to be a fake gun. And the idea is to then see if they catch. Now, this one was a lot more elaborate in that there were multiple layers of security. And in the final layer, if I can get through all of the different things, there would be a very detailed pat down. And I remember telling them, but what if he finds the gun, the fake gun? I said, don't worry, we're behind this. Like it's secure. And so I go through all the stages. The guy, and I notice that he's getting stressed. They ask him to stop. Now they're very happy because they're, in a sense, I don't have confirmation of this, but I think it was 2 tests that were happening. Test 1 is literally the security. Test 2 is this guy, someone that is worthy to keep working with him. Because, and again, I'm speculating here, but I think it's on solid ground. I'm kind of the dream of the Mossad and associated agencies because I'm the Lebanese Jew who's a perfect Arabic speaker who left Lebanon. The most famous case of the Israeli spy game is someone named Eli Cohen, who was
I kind of want to hear the end of the gun glove story.
So I played this. I didn't know what all was in it. I listened to the first few seconds, but I played this to note that people like Gadsad, people like Sebastian Gorka, even the Lex Friedman, Ben Shapiro's, these Jews with massive influence that are hard to listen to. They speak so slow. They have there's no entertainment, engagement in their content. Like, I'm not perfect, but at least I'm not monotone and slow talking Lex Friedman. It's like these people are obviously backed by somebody. And then you have people like Gadsad that are trying to play this idea that, oh, I had a run-in with Mossad, but I'm not Mossad. It's like a little bait and switch setup, Josh.
Yeah, and I said that to Ken. I was like, dude, how can you watch Lex Friedman and not believe he's a CIA agent?
Does he actually listen to Lex Friedman like, hey, Lex just posted a podcast, let me listen to it?
For the guests, whoever he's got on. But which is the point. But my thing is like,
yeah, but
I remember
there's so
the
many
first
other
time
better interviews,
I remember the first time I saw a clip from Lex Friedman, I thought Lex was the one being interviewed because because it was like, this sounds like someone who, like a guy who writes books or some shit being interviewed. Like, he's so boring and just droning to listen to. There is no way this guy became famous organically. He is being pushed.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro does talk fast, but he talks like this, and he's really hard to listen to because it's all monotone. You can't really keep up with what he's saying, but he's not really saying anything. He just repeats the same thing over and over and over again.
This is what you get with the Jews. This is what you get with the Jews. You get either, what you're saying is, or they're like Star Wars characters.
Well, the Lex Friedman thing, I despise Lex Friedman. If you can't tell, like if we're making a list, Lex is on top. He speaks
for me it's Levin. I don't like
listen to Levin, so he's not.
I don't listen to Lex.
Oh, I don't either. But I've heard enough. He speaks slow because then you can formulate a little bit better, and then you can sound a little bit more professional if you slow your words down and kind of think through what you're going to say, and you can make a little bit less mistakes. But the problem with Lex is he's retarded. He's a midwit. You have to actually listen. Like, anytime there's a follow-on question, chat, if you ever listen to Lex, find a podcast where he doesn't have scripted questions and they're follow-on questions. It's like, what did you even just ask? Like, did you hear what I just said? Like, the one being interviewed will go on this spiel and Lex will ask a follow-up question that was not even relevant to the entire spiel. It's like, what's going on up there, dude? I thought you had that 107.
He's like a Weyland Yutani drone. Like, he's a 3D printed human being, and they haven't worked out all the kinks yet.
They built him in the lab. Straight CRISPR. CRISPR Jew. That's what we're gonna start calling him. Shapiro, Lex, Gadsad, Gorka, they're all CRISPR Jews. What's Josh talking about? He said, do you hear China had sent a military Airbus into Iran 3 days ago? There's a guy reporting on the situation with the Iran and Israeli conflict called Patrick Lancaster. I saw his news agency mention Iran had sent 2 military cargo planes in Iran to reinforce Iran's defense capabilities. I don't know if it's confirmed yet. Dude, there's probably going to be so much like misdirection or unconfirmed things coming out here in the next week or two. Just like there was with the Ukraine war in Russia. I mean, everybody was like losing their minds over the ghost of Kiev that never existed. It wasn't real.
Hyde.
Huh?
It was Sam Hyde.
It was Sam Hyde. I'm the ghost of Kiev. Yeah. I'd be careful listening to anything of like significance without actual backing on it here in the next week or two. I knew Lex Friedman was Mossad from the first time I saw him. He's so boring. Yellow Moth, what's up, brother? Maybe the Jews suck at actual conversation and acting like humans.
Because they're foreigners.
Well, I don't think they actually have the IQs, but I do think they have the verbal IQs that are claimed, and those are 2 separate things that maybe we can get into another day. I got a couple other things lined up here. Let me see if I can pull them up. This is a exchange between Owen Schroyer and Laura Loomer. Laura Loomer, I mean, it's like, can we get away from the Jewness of everything? Like, honestly, I would rather not talk about Jews all the time. Like just go away. Take your 2% to Israel. I don't want it. All right, Josh is gonna go. He's gonna leave us. I gotta take a leak. Laura Loomer says America first is whatever President Trump says it is. Not true. This is not true. We were just talking about Sebastian Gorka. Sebastian Gorka's show is called America First. You know who else's show called America First? Nick Fuentes. Why does Trump get to dictate what America's First is? You have a Jew that's running America First show. You have Nick Fuentes who's running America First show. It's like America First is whatever the person that is saying America First is. Like it's used as a weapon. It's just a weaponized phrase that people take. America First. And they just beat other people over the head with it. It doesn't mean anything to anyone anymore except for the person wielding it. He created this movement. No, he didn't. Where was America first started? Reagan? Might be Pat Buchanan, actually. I'm gonna take chat. We're taking bets. Where did America first actually come from? I want to say it was Buchanan. Where did America first start, Josh?
The expression?
Yeah.
I heard what you said on my way out, where someone in the comments said, it's whatever Trump says it is, which
1940.
is wrong.
Woodrow Wilson. America First coin term by President Woodrow Wilson. Let me see if I can get this right. Is a policy the United States emphasizes on a fundamental notion of putting America first. Well, obviously, I mean, I feel like that's self-explanatory. The question is, how do you define that thing? Which generally involves disregarding global affairs and focuses solely on domestic policy in the United States. It generally denotes policies of non-interventionism and American nationalism and protectionist trade policies. Seems pretty straightforward to me, Josh. America first is whatever Donald Trump says it is. This is MAGA, dude. This is Jew MAGA.
Laura Loomer, of course. Yeah.
This is Brown Nose and Laura Loomer. He created this movement. No, he didn't. Again, no, he didn't. Why is it? Well, I don't know what's happening. People who have been MAGA since day one would understand this if they have truly been with Trump since day one. The problem is all of the never Trumpers are siding with Trump right now. Everybody that was MAGA day one, I think Owen Schroyer kind of touches on this in a second. Most day one MAGA are against this war. You're on the side of the former never Trumpers. Yes, this is exactly correct. I don't know if y'all are on Twitter, but Meghan McCain was like blasting all of Trump's True Socials the other day. Like she was so excited. This is a problem. If Meghan McCain is parroting your position, there's something wrong. Like really wrong here. But this is what we get. Shout out Owen for sure. He's been solid for a long time, and he continues to be. So maybe
Owen Schroyer's good.
I have an open invitation to go on Owen Schroyer's show. Did you know that?
No, you should do it.
I got to make it Austin though, or he'll come on my podcast. But I think we can work both of them out. I got to get to Austin. It's so far. It's just frustrating, dude. When you have people like Laura Loomer that want to leverage their Jewness. And this is another issue here, too, is you have Mike Huckabee, which is the ambassador to Israel. We knew this was an issue the second it was announced. Sent this real long. I'm not going to read it, chat. You can read it if you want to. It's on Trump's Truth. It basically says... We said God saved you in Butler. He specifically saved you so you could save Israel. That's what he says. It's like, come on, man. Come on, dude.
Mike Huckabee hit on my mom.
Nice, dude.
We went to my mom and dad went to some convention. He's a sleaze.
Well, they all are. That's why they're there, Josh. This is Woe. Go follow him if you get a second. But I wanted to bring this picture to light because I was talking a second earlier when we were talking about not feeling anything on the other side of the world. And when you send troops over there, it's a different feeling. It hits a little bit closer home, as it should. And then the follow-up question is, what happens when you start sinking billions of dollars into the ocean on the back of, oh, we need to save Israel from a war that they started? Like, this is a problem, isn't it, Josh? Like, How does that make you feel? Like, how much does that aircraft carrier cost? I'm going to Google it in a second. Let's just ballpark 3 billion, 50 billion. I have no idea.
I'd imagine
some
they're
retarded amount of money.
Pretty penny.
That's what's going to happen if we start defending war with Israel. We're going to have.
You think the Nimitz is going to get hit?
If we get involved, I would say, if I was Iran, you just have to accept your defeat and take everything out. I mean, that's what I put on the title of this on this thumbnail. is the Samson option. What is the Samson option? And I'm not extremely familiar with it. Josh may be a little bit more than me. But the Samson option is basically, Wikipedia in a second, it's not confirmed. It's not confirmed, just like every Jewish conspiracy theory. I mean, they got lasers in the sky. They got Jewish sky lasers. Was it space lasers? That's a conspiracy theory that everybody knows is true. They have the Samson option that everybody knows is true, but it's still a conspiracy theory. It's like, the Samson option is basically, if Israel is going to be destroyed, they just launch everything they have and destroy everybody else with them, basically.
Yeah.
And
like
so,
Samson did, and destroyed the temple and himself.
Let me put it this way: if I was a leader of a country, Israel or some other country, I would have a Samson option. I would. It's not just Israel. Saying that Israel doesn't have the thing that every other country ought to have is delusional.
Here's the thing, though: the Samson option is not simply, okay, we're losing a war, we're just going to launch our nukes at our enemy. They're holding the whole region hostage. That would be like, if we're losing a war with Russia, we're just going to send our nukes all over Canada, Mexico, South. We're just going to glass this entire hemisphere. That's what the Samson option is.
Well, once you understand that who their enemies are, it just makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, none of this is on paper, but essentially
none of this is on paper.
Yeah. So, it's like, but essentially, I think it's fair to assume that they are willing to do exactly what they threatened to do with Nixon during the Yom Kippur War. They said, we are going to glass the region, which even now I would gather that includes Egypt, that includes Saudi Arabia. They're holding their allies hostage as well without saying it. It's only there as a last resort. So I get what you're saying. It's like, if we were at war with Russia and we were losing, bomb all Russia, I still wouldn't do that personally, but I get why you would,
That's why you'll never conquer the world, Josh. I'm trying to rule the world one day.
You're gonna pound and stomp your feet.
I need help.
Well, you're not gonna lose if it comes to the Samson option, then you're not gonna rule the world. I don't need to have one because I would win the war. But yeah, like theirs is like more immoral, if that makes sense. I still think yours is immoral. I say
I would have one. I don't know that I would, but I do know that I would if I was a Jew running Israel.
Well, sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, in the context. Yeah, I mean, if I was Hitler in World War II, I would just flee to Argentina, right? Isn't that what I would do?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's what I would do too. Another Matt Gaetz clip.
Is in hot pursuit of peace. He is working to de-escalate the war between Israel and Iran. I am certain President Trump does not want to entangle the United States in this conflict needlessly. Many of President Trump's...
See, his back... he has a... Chat, this will be a little bit of cinematics for you. See, he has a hair light. It's kind of lighting up his hair.
Yeah.
So we kind of need that.
In the background.
Yeah, but he still blends into the background because it's so dark. Where's Josh's face at? Hold on.
Cam 1.
See, you don't blend into the background as bad. I do need some more lighting back there, though. Anyway. Side note,
Israel friends and advisors are trying to pressure and convince him that the United States should join airstrikes against Iran. On this program, we strongly disagree with that assessment and that advice. President Trump should reject it. So far, President Trump has wisely resisted the pressure. President Trump knows that the Bush-era doctrine of regime change wars in the Middle East is foolish. It's costly, and it is counterproductive as an anti-terrorism strategy. The misadventurism of the Bush years probably created a great deal more terrorists than they vanquished. I'm old enough to remember the last time Israel coaxed the United States into a regime change war in the Middle East. Listen to now Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu tell us in 2002 that invading Iraq would be a good choice.
It's not a question of whether Iraq's regime should be taken out, but when should it be taken out. I think
it's the same thing. But yeah, we got about 45 minutes left. We're going to touch on a few things. Somebody in chat actually said, go on Owen's show and talk about his debate with Misinformed Patriot. I actually have their debate from last night queued up to react to. So we're going to do that in a second, Josh. Who is
Misinformed Patriot?
What's his name? Now I'm blanking on his name. He doesn't. Misfit Patriot. His name's Misfit Patriot. Who is he?
Yeah.
He's somebody that keeps trying to inject himself into the conversation. He's a very Destiny-esque faggot Jew. Josh said I made a mistake above. It's supposed to be that China had sent 2 military cargo planes instead of Iran. Yeah, I was tripping up on that one. But yeah, so we see Max Gaetz. I mean, anything else you want to talk on before we start reacting to this debate right here?
Nah, I mean, I think we've kind of covered the situation. You know, we'll continue to discuss Iran-Israel as it unfolds, and see. Hopefully, we'll get some positive updates from Trump. Though I'm not optimistic.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just defeated.
All right. I'm gonna try physiognomy check. I'm gonna try and figure out who Misfit Patriot is. Ooh, honestly, I narrowed it down to bottom right and top left, but now, so it is bottom left.
Yeah.
All right. When he had his hat down, when he had his hat down, I was like, it's not him. Then you skipped ahead, and I was like, ooh.
You'll learn real quick when he starts talking.
Yeah.
So we're gonna speed this up. The thing's 2.5 hours long almost, so we're gonna speed it up. I might skip around. I haven't watched it yet. It just came up not long ago on my feed, so I don't even know who Alan Roberts is. I'm assuming top left. I need to start hosting debates like this. Really.
Yeah.
If I could get that lined up, I would do that. That's what we need to do, Josh. Get our 3 cams going. I'll be moderator in the middle right here. Let him go to town, dude.
We'll debate evolution.
I know I've talked about getting into the debate field before. I just gotta let me get on the chat. Let me get on the schedule with the baby, and I'll start making some evening streams, especially with Raging Tomato and stuff.
So Owen challenged me to a debate. I always accept debates for anybody that challenges me, as long as they're, I have a rule. If you're a real person, if you're not an anonymous account, you have a decent following, I will accept any debate. So that's why I'm here. And as far as what the debate topic is, I guess it's really the issue that he was referring to, where, talking about how if you want peace, then it doesn't mean you hate Jews. Now, I don't know Owen that well. I haven't watched his content. I don't know if he hates Jews. I don't think automatically that people who question Israel or question Iran hate Jews. I know he works at InfoWars. I know there are people that are, towing the line. I know they have people on there like Nick Fuentes, who I would say clearly has a bias towards Jews. But I think that a lot of people use their just asking questions to as a shield for their bias towards the Jewish people. Again, not necessarily saying that is Owen, but based off of his response to Laura Loomer, it's the same talking points that I hear. So that's why I gave him that rebuttal. So I'm going to go through a few things in this debate. I just wrote down some notes, like, for instance, the threats to the U.S. from Iran, which there's plenty of. Khamenei, whatever the fuck you want to call him. Hope they took him out. There was rumors of that. His tweets calling America, the great Satan. I'm assuming Owen is probably going to jump in here with the talking point of Iraq versus Iran, where it's like, oh, it's just like Iraq with the weapons of mass destruction, even though it's not. And we're going to try to really drill down on why I think that America, being in a partnership with Israel, taking on radical Islamic terrorism, and Iran, the #1 state sponsor of terror, is a good thing. Doesn't necessarily mean I think we should have boots on the ground, but I think that we need to do it, because we need to send a message to the world that the old ways of appeasing terrorists, leaving money on tarmacs, and making deals are over. These people are fucking trying to infiltrate and take over every nation that they come into, and they do, I don't care what anybody says, want to see every man, woman, and child in America either converted to Sharia law or fucking killed. It's their doctrine. So that's my position, and I'm happy to get into that with Owen, and thank you for having me.
Cool. You had 18 seconds left. Owen, give me a sec to reset the timer. And I'm crap at that. Go ahead, Owen.
Well, I'll take a brief moment here, and then I can really just respond to some of the things that he laid out. I think, generally speaking, our relationship with Israel has cost us foreign policy-wise. I think that it's more than fair for Americans to be critical of Israel, considering that we subsidize its entire existence. We subsidize its healthcare, its education, and its military with our tax dollars. And then on top of that, we provide additional military support as well. And if you look at our foreign policy for the last 30 years, you could even argue 40, it's been a disaster in the Middle East. And I think that that's mostly because of the influence of Israel over our foreign policy. Now, you could argue if this is just good intentions, the road to good intentions leading to hell. Or you could argue that maybe Israel has something else going on with things like the Jeffrey Epstein client list, blackmailing our politicians, and of course the influence of AIPAC over our Congress as well, which makes you wonder, if we do go to war with Iran, will Congress even vote for it? Will it matter? Will they say anything? Or will their AIPAC handlers tell them to shut up and let it happen? So I think it's time to re-examine our foreign policy. I think it's time for America to re-examine Israel's influence on our foreign policy. And I would say this is not opinion. This is just a matter of fact. And I don't know if anybody would disagree, but if you really care about Israel, or maybe more importantly, if you care about the people of Israel, then you have to realize that its current actions are putting them in a less safe position. And if you realize that America and its...
All right, what we listen to? What are we talking about, Josh?
The fat guy basically said that, you know, what we had kind of talked about earlier, where it's like, well, Iran, you know, they want to convert everybody to Sharia law. They're the #1 state sponsor of terrorism. And, you know, all the typical like boomer brain talking points, and that we should absolutely support them. And Owen has started his opening statement, which what he said was it's totally fair for Americans to be critical of Israel because we subsidize their entire country, their healthcare, everything comes from America.
Yes. And we have for 50 years.
Yes.
70 years.
Support of Israel is a necessity for Israel's existence. You must realize that in the current trend, in 10 to 20 years, there won't be any support of Israel. The boomers and the older generations that were propagandized into supporting Israel all this time, not to be morbid, but it's true, they'll be dead. And the younger generations who now, you could argue, are...
Yeah, I mean, this is something I touch on a lot recently, too, is this is a realization that people must understand. They must come to this understanding, is that boomers are just old. And this is the reality. They are going to die. And who they're being replaced with is a significantly more radical generation than has ever existed. At least in the context of America.
Yes.
And so you're taking this really go along to get along. You do you, keep it in your own home. I don't care, whatever, libertarian type mindset, and replacing it with almost virtually blanket authoritarianism, whether that's left or right, that's who's being replaced. And so it's not just they're slightly right of the boomers, it's going to be a little bit of a shift. No, it's a complete blanket replacement. And this is what I was talking about earlier when we have these No Kings podcast or No Kings protests. It's like when your protest is 85% boomers and it's arguing for no kings because you think Trump is a king, and the generations coming up are extremely authoritarian, left and right, you're getting a king before we die. Like that's just the nature of the thing. The system will be destroyed. I'm not saying next year, I'm not saying 5 years. I'm saying I'm 30 something years old. I'm 33. Before I turn 80, within 50 years, that gives me plenty of time. I would even go as far to say as within 20 years. But before I die, there will be a monarchy in America. Whether that's all of America or portions of America is a different question. But there will be some authoritarian figure in our lifetime.
Probably anti-Semitic, some of them, they won't want any support of Israel. So if you care about Israel, Netanyahu is the regime change that you need. And if you care about Israel, then you better realize if you don't change tack soon, 10 to 20 years, there will be no support from the United States of America. And I'd hate to see what happens to Israel after that.
Okay, you had a minute left on the clock, but Zach, you can go ahead with your 2 minutes.
2 minutes to start what? Just
rebuttal, man.
Okay. So, one rebuttal on Owen's opening would be his statement that the U.S. that Israel controls America. I think he said through AIPAC. This is a talking point that I hear all the time. AIPAC, they're somewhere around number 20th in lobbying, or 20th in donations, 199th to 200th in lobbying. We have so many.
That's not the argument. The argument is they don't have to register under FARA, so you don't know where the funds come from or where they go. Stupid.
Yeah. It's always like
it's a redirect. It's misdirection. It's Jew talk. That's literally what it is.
Yeah, like I saw a meme the other day where it was like, you always see like who controls Hollywood, and it's like a bunch of people with stars of David next to them, and be like they're all Jewish. One I saw was who controls Wall Street, and most of them were Irish, and then the other two were Jewish. And it's like this is exactly like the kind of thing. It's like, well, because not every single person that is influential is a Jew. Well, therefore, Jews have no authority in America.
Yeah, I don't know why they still deny that they've infiltrated and have power in almost every industry. Like they've admitted this for the last 20 years and even more so recently. But then you still have the individual ones trying to deny us. Like it's just like everything else. They try to play two sides of the same coin. They continually do it. Whatever works for them. I'm Jewish when I'm Jewish and I'm white when it benefits me.
Exactly. Other pacts from so many other countries, and I never hear the actual logical argument on how they control Congress. Right? It's just a theory. It's a conspiracy theory. But now I will also say, I say this every time I make this point, I think all pacts should be illegal. So I do think that Israel does have influence, but so does the National Association of Realtors, the pharmaceutical industry, the healthcare industry, all these places. Right? And there's dozens of them. Almost a dozen, 2 dozen before you get to Israel. We have AAPAC, right? The American Arab Political Action Committee. Nobody bitches about them. You have Qatar that comes through our college institutions, donates hundreds of billions of dollars over the past 20 years. Nobody talks about how that is influencing the youth of America to create these Free Palestine protests. You have the influence of George Soros-funded organizations and NGOs that are literally destroying our country. It's the shit that we can see with our eyes.
Yes, we do.
Right? You can actually see these things on the streets. But you don't hear people. I don't know if Owen's covered this, but you don't hear people like Owen. Outraged about the influence Qatar has over our country and how it's destroying our nation.
The Qatari influence thing.
Oh, that really gets me too, dude.
Bananas. I can't even like begin. That's like someone unironically saying like Darth Vader.
Where's my Qatari bucks at? I don't have any. Are you collecting all of them and not giving me any?
Yeah, of course. I'm partially Jewish. You didn't know that?
Look at that hair, dude.
To his homage to his father by lying and going in there and talking about weapons of mass destruction that weren't there and putting us into that region for 20 years, thousands dead.
Okay, let's get to the debate.
Any other Laden do it? No, Osama bin Laden wanted to blow up the Twin Towers and he blew up the Twin Towers. Like, so Osama bin Laden did it. Now, you guys want to go into the conspiracy theory. You're saying Osama bin Laden did not blow up the Twin Towers.
Totally, dude. Totally. Osama bin Laden from a cave in Afghanistan ran the
wasn't
entire operation. That's totally what happened. Osama bin Laden, who was a CIA asset.
So I'm sure.
No. 9/11 was an inside job. Who knows all the different parties responsible? It's probably just like the assassination of JFK. It was probably a bunch of different parties that have interest in it. And it did exactly what it was intended to do with you. To get you to support regime change in the Middle East, to get you to support never-ending wars in the Middle East, and you sit here and you admit it was all a bad idea, and yet you're ready and willing to jump into another one as if you're denying your own ideology and your own belief system.
You're putting words in my mouth, right? Osama bin Laden blew up the Twin Towers, right?
Now, so you do believe the official narrative?
Yes, but okay. I believe the official narrative is the CIA was involved in a bunch of shady shit, including regime changes and meddling.
Time out. Do you think planes took down the Twin Towers?
Yes, the planes took down the Twin Towers. You know how I know that? Owen, how old are you, Owen?
I'm 30.
How old am I?
Oh my god, dude! This guy's a joke. I mean, he literally bottoms for a living. like literally, Chad. I'm not gonna bring it up, but he literally bottoms for a living. Yes. He actually leaked it himself on an app called Growler.
Oh my god.
His name on Chat. His name on Growler is Fist Me. His name's Misfit Patriot. And his name on Growler is Fist Me.
Like, I've never met a straight guy with that much, like, like all the neon lights, all that shit.
I always say RBG is gay.
Yeah, it's sus.
You're 35. I'm 40, so I'm 5 years older than you. I think you're a little too young to remember it, but I remember it like it was yesterday.
I don't need to remember it. I can go look.
I do think it's odd.
That's cute.
Like, he says he's 40 years old, man. Like, Andrew Wilson is like 40, 42, something like that. I like Andrew, but I do think, I don't know, at a certain age, it's like a little bit odd not to have debates, but to have debates in this kind of forum. Does that make sense? But I do understand the necessity for it. Yeah, like,
well,
maybe he just looks older to me.
He's definitely faggy. I don't know.
Or Andrew?
No, that one.
Oh yeah, this
Misfit.
One. Yeah, he's definitely faggy.
Like I've seen 40-year-olds debate, but like people older than that, but there's a little bit of regalness to it. I don't know, and he just doesn't have it. Is that what you're saying?
Because he's gay.
Well, yeah, because he's gay. Because
it's videotape. It's clearly a controlled demolition. I don't have propaganda brain. I have reasonable, logical thinking brain, and I can watch videos and see a controlled demolition. Clearly, there were explosives in all 3 of those buildings, and that's why they fell straight down like a controlled demolition.
So I know
if
people
you can't
that were
accept that reality with your own eyes, then you have propaganda brain, and anything else you say should be completely discounted because you cannot think for yourself.
You're going off of videotape. I'm going off of actual memory, right? I know people who were in New York City that watched planes fly into the fucking building.
Actual memory. You know that video that you took. You know the video that records literally every single detail to the T. My memory's better. My memory's better than a video camera.
I thought he was gonna. I thought what he was about to say was he's going off of like peer-reviewed studies or something.
I thought he was too, and then he goes, "My memory's better than the video camera." What a clown! Like he could have saved that, but then he just left turned.
The building. Talk about putting words in the mouth. Did I ever deny that?
You just said, do I think planes took out the Twin Towers?
Yeah, they didn't. Demolition did.
Well,
planes flew into the buildings.
So
that was a distraction.
Okay, so planes flew into the buildings, and then you're saying that there was a controlled demolition after, and it was all pre-planned, right?
100%.
Okay. While there may be some truth to the Tower 7 controlled demolition.
Maybe.
Hold on.
Maybe.
Hold on. Bro, I don't speak in absolutes unless I can prove it. And you can't
what do you do? Dude, it's literally a building.
Let me teach you something right quick. That position he just ceded in the debate, if you take his position, you don't cede that. You don't give that ground up. You lose. If you're going to argue the official narrative, you stick to the official narrative. You don't cede ground there.
And then it's a controlled demolition.
What
other proof do you need?
Do
you want the building to send you a little letter like, hey, somebody blew me up? Like, what else do you want?
This is the difference between critical thinkers and conspiracy theorists. I don't speak in absolutes unless I can prove it. It looks like a controlled demolition in Tower 7. All right,
that's well, I'm glad we can sacrifice that. Great.
Now,
if I could cut it real quick,
just Tower 7. Tower 7 looks like a demolition. Not the other two that look like exactly the same way.
Okay, so here's the thing. The official narrative is that debris from the Twin Towers is what brought down Building 7. So they didn't put bombs in the Twin Towers and hoped that the planes would take them down, but they did put them in Building 7. There you go.
Again, chat. Don't be a retard. Let's start there. Let's start there. If you're gonna have a debate, don't be a retard. And then on that, if you're gonna stick to the official narrative, stick to the official narrative. Don't cede ground like a retard. Him ceding ground loses the debate for him. I haven't even watched this, and I can guarantee you that.
As a pertinent question, Alan, go ahead.
Sorry, I muted myself. I'm going to be 54 soon, and I watched it. So I just for the sake of argument, I've never ever seen anybody. Like, you can't deny that it's a controlled implosion. I mean, none of them. Okay? they fall right in on their footprint, man. Like these are massive structures, right?
Yeah.
Massive structures, and they fall directly on their imprint after getting struck by something on one of the sides.
I have a theory on that.
If they would have fallen from the planes, there would have been a fall towards the impact side of the plane, right? Okay, so they've fallen straight down. That's a controlled thing.
I think that I have a theory on that, and you guys can either scoff at it or not. But I have a theory that there is controlled demolition.
Is it a conspiracy theory? I have a theory on that. It's like, dude, you and your random theory are trying to argue the official narrative on top of against, like, basically confirmed what you literally just called 30 seconds ago a conspiracy theory.
Was pre-made into the structure in case there was ever anything that would happen, and they blew it up because they figured if it falls down, it's going to take out more.
No, that's exactly what Larry Silverstein said afterwards. Lucky Larry, he said, it was just such terrible loss of life, so we made the decision to pull the building. And
it makes sense, but like I said,
it
makes a lot. It makes a lot more sense than putting controlled demolitions into a building that has hundreds of thousands of people in it without anybody knowing.
No, it doesn't make any sense at all because they did it for what reason? Again, trillions of dollars in the Middle East, multiple regime changes in the Middle East. That's why they did it. And guess what? Now they got a nice little convenient spy grid to spy on everything you do here too, and steal you up at the airport.
Correct. Owen's correct. Americans had to die.
Yep.
Misfit's trying to argue the point that it doesn't make sense to kill Americans.
Yeah.
We don't go to war if you don't kill Americans.
Because it was not about the oil.
Can I ask you something? How would they get all of that controlled demolition explosive into the building without anybody knowing it?
See, this is another issue. This is another issue with people that question conspiracy theories. They don't want to accept the thing, and so they just throw questions out.
Yeah.
Regardless of if you think flat Earth is true or not. If you're in a flat Earth debate, it is incumbent upon both of you to affirm the position, your position. Affirm that it is a globe and affirm that it is flat Earth. I guess depending on the debate question. And this is what they do, is it always eventually boils down to the person defending flat Earth is just bombarded with so many questions that the debate can't even happen. And this is what these people do. He's just going to bombard him with questions on the conspiracy that no progress is ever made in the discussion because he doesn't want to accept it, one, regardless of if it's true or not.
That's what happens to me on a different format.
It was already there.
Yes.
I don't know, but that's much more believable that it was already there and just waiting to be exploded. Just explosives, just thousands of explosives in the Trade Center every day when pedestrians are walking around. But hold on a second. We're getting a little off track here. I'd like to get back to the subject at hand, okay?
There you go.
And
good job, boys.
I think that we need to focus on the issue, which is the relation between the United States of America and Israel. That's the debate. Again, if Israel wants to attack Iran and take out what they claim is their nuclear capability, which I think is a lie, they've been telling us since 1985 that Iran was moments away from a nuke, and it's never happened. I think Israel is blowing up the evidence right now because they know it's not. They know it's not true. And Israel, which you could argue has the best intelligence network in the world, so good that they can penetrate Hamas and give them pagers to blow them up, so good that they can penetrate Iran, build a drone base, and do targeted strikes on military leaders, but they can't give us any evidence, not a single scintilla of evidence of any proof of nukes, even though they've been telling us since 1985. I don't believe that for one single second. It is the same thing as Iraq. They just switched it to Iran. They switched weapons of mass destruction to nukes. They switched Saddam to Khomeini. It's the exact same playbook, and because people like you still...
It's the exact same playbook that they pulled with Afghanistan, exact same playbook they pulled with Saudi Arabia and Libya and Syria, and all. It's the same thing over and over and over again, and we keep falling for it. Well, maybe we don't keep falling for it, which is they just have people in place, and that's an excuse that they use.
Fall for it. They're going to do it again.
Yeah, I'm not falling for anything. What I'm saying is that if Iran has been close to building a nuke for this many years, right? It's
40.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's because they've been trying to build a nuke for this long, and they're fucking, like, I don't know, they're just bad at it.
Okay,
But
so they
either
can't
way-
build a nuke. So then what are we doing? So they can't build a nuke.
Yeah, they're bad at it. Well, I think they did do an analysis and said that they're at least 3 to 5 years away from actually having what would be a nuke. And so, but Israel had to strike right now. They had to strike right now, or they would have the nukes. See, this is the problem. It doesn't make sense. Either it's true or it's not. And in both contexts, it's not true.
What are we doing?
All right, so they have nuclear facilities with nuclear enrichment, right? And it's basically like, okay, let me put it to you this way. All right, if somebody has all of the materials in their house to build a bomb in their house, right? And let's say
They don't. See, he wants these premises granted to him. They don't have all the ingredients. That's literally why they don't have it, because they don't have the ingredients.
What don't they have? Because they're enriching uranium. They have a civilian space.
They are enriching uranium. They don't have enriched uranium, from my understanding. And it takes years to do that. And that's why we're years away from them having a nuke. It's like, maybe we can negotiate a deal before this happens.
I'm willing to accept that they have the capability to get a nuke soon.
If I had the things to build a nuke, I could probably build a nuke. I can't imagine it's that hard.
My point being is I think that those things are there as a threat, that they are not actively pursuing one.
Sure.
Yeah. So,
why else would you wield the nuke?
So I think debating over whether or not they have the capability is irrelevant.
Having a nuke is a defensive measure.
Of course.
And any measurement of offensive terms is dishonest.
Yes. What the real problem here is not whether or not they're capable of having a nuke. It's what would they do with it. And it's the boomer narrative that they're a bunch of backwards sand savages that are just constantly attacking Israel for no reason whatsoever because they hate God, they hate Jesus, and all this other stuff. It has nothing to do with that. It's because there's a vast history of Israeli persecution of Palestinians, which the Iranians support because they are both Muslim. They're part of the Muslim world. Like Israel's hands are bloody. That is why they are doing this. And Israel is constantly pursuing war with them, which is evident by what's going on right now.
Yes.
So it makes complete sense why they would want this.
Well, Israel can't exist without war going on. I don't know. It's like they need it to live. It's like their host is the Middle East, and they're a parasite sucking off of the war around them that they create. It's like, why?
I think in their heart of hearts they don't want war, but the condition is they have to be on. It's not that they don't want war, period. It's that they have to be the dominant power. They must control the goyim. And if that entails being at war, well, we're the victims because we're just doing what God put us here to do, which is be in charge of everybody. So they're perpetually in war for that reason. They're the perpetual victim because they're constantly subverting, manipulating, assassinating, and it's everyone else's fault because they're getting in the way of what God intended, which is you to be our slaves.
Yes.
Why are you being so selfish, Goyim?
Yeah, I mean, why?
Just put these handcuffs on.
If Israel really wanted to have peace in the Middle East, if the American leaders really wanted to have peace in the Middle East, we would set up an American empire and just conquer the nations around Israel and Israel itself. But, you know, Josh, Israel would never be attacked if Israel was America in the context of an empire, nobody would attack it.
Right.
But we allow them to be attacked because we allow them to remain autonomous from the thing. There we go, chap. We're colonizing the Middle East, one country at a time. No more regime change, colonization. Yeah, this is Donald Trump, 2019. Really not even that long ago. After, I guess, during the back end of his first presidency. The United States has spent $8 trillion fighting and policing the Middle East. Thousands of our great soldiers have died or been badly wounded. Millions of people have died on the other side. Going into the Middle East is the worst decision ever made. I didn't get to it, but Matt Gaetz said that if Donald Trump engages in this war with Iran, his presidency is done and his legacy is lost. And
I agree.
And I agree too. But in the context of that was him looking at Bush, and Bush had all these great plans for America, and everything that Bush wanted to do, where they wanted to fix the debt, he wanted to fix Social Security, he wanted to fix Medicare, Medicaid, he wanted to fix all these domestic policies, but he wasn't able to because we were fighting a war across the world. And the same exact thing is going to happen with Donald Trump. Donald Trump can have, whether he authored it or not, Project 25, Project 47, whatever plans he has for America, all of the deportations that we were supposed to get. If this war goes on in the Middle East, he's not going to have time for any of it. We're just going to be spent time defending Israel from what I would argue is an inevitability. But here we are. I wanted to look at something else too that she posted, if I can find it. It's a video of Iran in like 1991.
What the hell?
Oh, where is it? I think it was Whiskey that posted it. Oh boy. Was it not? Struggling. I guess it wasn't. Anyway, it was basically just a nice, what would look like something very 1980s America. Did I repost it? This is funny too, Josh. You ever seen this one?
Testified before today is of the Jewish faith. Mr. Rockwell, every member of that panel you testified before today is of the Jewish faith. Are all of them? Every member. Now, how do you, Mr. Rockwell, every...
That's when he was.
What was the first part he said? All the people you what in front of?
Testified. This is when he was put up in court. Was it say it?
Mr. Rockwell, every member of that...
Yeah, I mean, it's basically copy and paste of Nuremberg trials. I mean, everybody on the Nuremberg trials were Jewish. It's like the deck is always stacked against you. This is what you have to understand. Oh, that was the Father's. Did I not repost it? Oh, here it goes. 79. This is prior to our coup over there. I mean, this isn't just Iran. This is Iraq. This is Afghanistan. This is Libya, Syria. This is all of these nations that we have gone in and restructured their government that then followed on and enabled the destruction of what would be non-Muslim culture. I mean, it's virtually indistinguishable from like 1950s, 60s America. اسیر رویاها میشم دوباره باز تنها میشم به شب میگم پیشم بمونه به باد میگم تا صبح بخونه. I mean, you could probably argue like a pre-embargo Cuba. Like, I mean, but we did this. We as America in this liberation and coup of a countries did this.
Start saying a bunch of shit like, you know what? I want to blow up, I don't know, my neighbor's house, right? Like they're tweeting about it. They're calling their neighbor the Great Satan. And they got all the materials that they can to build a bomb in their house. The neighbor might be inclined to go call the cops and be like, I don't think they should have the materials to build that bomb because they seem a little crazy. And I'm afraid they're going to blow up my fucking house, right? And that's all that I think that most logical people are saying is, I don't care if it takes.
A2Z in the chat. What's up, brother? With Russia and China cargo planes landing in Iran, gee, I wonder what the concern is, huh? Yeah, who mentioned that earlier? Was it Josh? Josh mentioned that earlier. Beg to differ. This is a false statement on factual. They have weapon-grade plutonium. It's been confirmed by intelligence sources. It's the same thing I was telling Josh earlier, man. You got to be really cautious about what you believe coming out here pretty soon. I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, it's the same thing Netanyahu said, oh, they have WMDs in Iraq, right? And then we invade, like literally tomorrow, the next day. I would be cautious. It's basically confirmed that they can't build a nuke or they don't have the things to build the nuke until about 3 to 5 years out. I mean, maybe they do. Regardless, I don't think it really changes much if they do. I said Iran would be a great country, but of course Islam took it over. Shame. Well, Islam took it over because we allowed it, facilitated it even. Iranian girls are hot.
I mean, there's only one. Everyone in that video was a child except for one.
There's some other videos. I mean, they were virtually. I mean, they're Caucasian. Genetically. I didn't hear anything about Russian planes.
He's talking about how Josh was talking about Chinese ones and A2Z was talking about Chinese and Russian.
I mean, this is the war that you're going to get. If this happens, it's going to be the BRICS system versus everyone else. You're going to have Russia, China, Iran. What's the B stand for? Brazil? No, it doesn't. Does it?
Anyway. I think it used to. Or maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're going to get. I mean, you have your Axis allies. You're going to have your BRICS versus whatever we're going to call ourselves. NATO is essentially what it's going to boil down to. I mean, I think that's an issue in itself. And I think y'all might have mentioned that on the show this morning is like anyone inside of NATO shouldn't have nukes. They are a liability within the thing itself. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Except us. It's okay when we do it, chat.
20 years or 20 minutes. I don't want them to have the capability to build
All right, so what do you have to enrich uranium to get a nuclear weapon like they're saying? Do you know?
No, not off the top of my head.
So it's probably about 60%. Give or take 60%. You could maybe start getting it at 30% at the lowest. Now, when they blew up, allegedly, when they blew up the uranium enrichment facilities, Israel said that there was no fallout. There was no nuclear fallout. Do you realize that's literally impossible to be at 30%, especially 60%, and have no nuclear fallout after blowing up a facility? That's literally impossible. So I guess they had nothing, or is Israel lying?
There's this crazy thing that Jews lie. Like, it's like, surprise, Josh. I got you again.
Well, and you know what's so funny? It's literally a Goebbels level lie. If you say it hard enough and with enough assurance, people will believe it. And that is how Jews operate. Goebbels got that from them, I would probably reckon.
Okay, so but Khomeini has come out and said and tweeted
Or
that
Goebbels.
he's like,
Yeah.
if
Goebbels
America
already
can have a
did.
nuclear weapon, why can't we?
Okay, well, you didn't answer the question, but I'm okay with that logic. Why does Israel get nukes and the Samson option, but Iran doesn't? How do you think Iran feels about that?
They've shown a pattern of behavior that they're a responsible nation that can have nukes.
No. Don't play this game.
It's the worst, dude. It's the worst argument possible.
That's what Ken was saying this morning. It was like, what criteria should we have to allow people to have nuclear weapons? And I'm like, what is the conversation? I was like, what does this mean? We can take away Israel's nukes. You know why? Because we have complete leverage over them. They would not exist, period, to this day. If we were to withdraw completely, they would be gone. So we can take their nukes.
Chad, to catch you up, Josh
irrelevant.
Josh does a radio show in the morning with a couple of boomers and typical MAGA types that kind of think for themselves, or at least they think they think for themselves. And they have a call-in show. We need to set our Zoom back up. It's set up. I just need to post it. But they have call-ins. They were calling all over the place this morning saying, "Oh, my criteria for having nukes is, my criteria for having nukes is, like, dude, no. Like, you don't need a criteria. If your criteria is they're responsible with their nukes, it's like the U.S. doesn't need nukes then. We're the only ones that's actually dropped them on people. Does the U.S. need nukes? If your criteria for having nukes is being responsible with the nukes, we disintegrated 2 major cities in Japan with nukes.
And again, it's an empty platitude. What does that mean? What does that mean? It's the same thing with like third world. Well, I want to get rid of third world immigration. That's not an answer. That is not an answer. That's like saying, okay, so if you're responsible, then you can get nukes. So what is everyone else saying? If you're irresponsible, you can get
Sweden needs nukes. We just need to start gifting Sweden and Switzerland and Norway and Finland and all of these other countries. Just start gifting them nukes. You know, they're responsible, Josh. You get a nuke. You get a nuke. Everybody gets a nuke except for Iran. Because they're not responsible.
Because they're the #1 state sponsor of terrorism.
I don't have a personal issue with Israelis or Iranians. I met a few Israeli girls and my uncle's ex-wife is Iranian. Both groups have merit. I'm more against the Jews of Europe. You can't separate the Jews of Europe and the Israelis. And this is what the anti-Semites get a lot of flack for, is like they say that we conflate Jews and Israel. And Israel is different than all Jews. But the problem is all Jews agree with Israel.
And a perfect example of that is after October 7th, even some of your most staunch, socially liberal Jews rallied behind Donald Trump. Bill Ackman rallied behind Donald Trump.
Yes.
Freaking Jerry Seinfeld is coming out as, pro Netanyahu.
Chat, you want to see something real quick? I'm going to show you something. This is what a Zionist occupied government is. You want to say that they don't have control? These are all of your senators almost immediately after the Iran announcement. Well, we can't even read it. It's so small. There's so many of them. It's so small you can't even read it. Let's see if I can make it bigger. Who we have? Just name a couple. Rick Scott. Tonight, I ask every American to join me in praying for the safety of the U.S. personnel in the Middle East and safety of success of Israel as it takes action against a leading state sponsor of terrorism. Copy paste. Lindsey Graham, game on. Pray for Israel. God bless you. You're in our prayers. John Boozman. Senator Susan Collins. Iran is greatly expended uranium. Pray for Israel.
Tim Scott.
Welcome to South Carolina. We got the best, Josh. Don't we have the best senators? We got the best senators. South Carolina's got the best senators. What a joke. What a joke all of them are. A bunch of childless, unmarried old men. Like, give me a break. You don't care about the future of us, our nation.
How did South Carolina let 2 gay men become their senators?
I don't know, dude. Israel has a right and responsibility to defend itself against Iran's growing nuclear capabilities. We must support Israel's right of self-defense and keep our troops safe in the region. Josh, let me ask you one question. What is a right of self-defense after you initiate it?
Well, it means we have to win the war for them.
Oh yeah. I forgot. It was a preemptive. It was preemptive self-defense.
Yes.
Okay. Now it's clear. I just forgot it was preemptive self-defense.
We have evidence that they were going to attack us, and that's all I'll say. No, I will not elaborate further.
Chad, these are all your Ted Cruz. Here's my message to the Ayatollah: if you strike America, I have every confidence that President Trump will respond with overwhelming force. Pray for Israel. I got a question, Josh. Please join me in praying for Israel. Who should we pray to?
Oh no, Katie, come on.
Who should we pray to, Josh? Which should we pray to, the Christian God, or should we pray to Satan?
You should pray to Baal.
The Moloch. The Molech. Let's go sacrifice babies at the altar of Planned Parenthood for Molech, so Israel can win this war. Chad, this is what we're fighting against. It's not just some nothing. It's completely infiltrated. Zog exists. I'm getting fired up. I got to get out of here in like 5 minutes.
Don't play that, because Iran doesn't care. Do you think Iran falls for that and says, "Oh, Israel's so much better than us. They can have nukes"?
Making a logical fallacy and like a false equivalency for Israel and Iran is a ridiculous statement. It's like, why can Israel have it, but not Iran? Why can we have nukes but not Iran? Right? It's why is it that America can have nukes?
You don't think that's a fair question?
I think it's a stupid question to say that the people who literally chant death to America and the ideology that is
I don't want Iran to have a nuke. So strawman me here. But Iran looks at Israel.
This is another talking point. Everything he is saying is just platitudes. Oh, the countries that chant death to America, you don't want them to have nukes. No, I don't want them to have nukes. You know who else I don't want to have nukes?
Israel.
They don't want death. They want to enslave us. And they're getting pretty doggone close, chat. Which I just showed you.
You and I, we are. What choice do we have? Thank God. Like, what is my friend told me, is the draft age 25? Like, that's the maximum draft age?
It might be 27. That sounds more accurate. I know 27 is the if you're older than 27, you can't go into the military without a waiver.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm 27, so
you better hurry up, Josh.
I know.
How many days you got left? Too many
till October.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Hates their guts. Wants regime change.
Vanderlord, you might be on the back end of the list.
Oh, that's true. They may not get.
Do you think Iran's going to sit there and say, "Fine, we'll never have nukes"? Of course not.
Sure, I understand that Iran wants nukes, right? And I think that we're both in agreement that they shouldn't have them. So the argument here is you don't think that they can. So you don't think that anything should be done, right? And what's your evidence of that?
What's your evidence that they have nukes?
Because they keep on fucking.
And you're probably on a list because you used to be in the Marines.
They say they want nuclear power for their country. Now, you may not believe that, but again, if you believe they're enriching uranium, at least 30 to 60%, then there would be nuclear fallout when they bombed the enrichment facilities, and they claim there is none. So where is it?
The country that's filled with oil wants to switch to nuclear power, right?
Why wouldn't they? Everybody should.
Oh, they want to switch to nuclear power, even though it would be more costly.
If I could step in for just a second,
dude. Another thing, Misfit. I'm just doing a debate analysis here, kind of. Another thing Misfit Patriot does is he tries to get these like drive-by shots. I don't know if you heard it just then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He tries to get these drive-by shots and then just kind of veer off and kind of get away from it. But Owen's good. He gets back to it. Let me see if I can rewind this thing.
Nuclear power, even though with oil.
Believe that, but again, if you believe they're enriching uranium,
Yeah, he said, why would a country that depends on oil want to go to nuclear power? It's like, no, everybody does. Why wouldn't you, retard?
At least 30 to 60%, then there would be.
But then he just uses it as a drive-by.
It's such a baby brain. Like, it literally is like, well, why have a knife when you already have a gun? And even that's not even analogous.
Why would you want a gun if you already have a knife? Like that. That's the argument.
Okay, there you go. Even better.
Nuclear fallout when they bombed the enrichment facilities, and they claim there is none. So where is it?
The country that's filled with oil wants to switch to nuclear power, right?
Why wouldn't they? Everybody should.
Oh, they want to switch to nuclear power, even though it would be more costly.
If I could step in for just a second and move the debate along a little bit. This debate is clearly about America's interest, the cost benefit. Why should America go to war? Zach, could you just tell us, what do you think the cost would be to America in going to war? And what do you think the expense would be? What do you think we would have to do? How many troops on the ground? What weaponry are we giving? And then what's the cost to America, both in money and in...
You know what I'm going to say, Josh? Not one American life. Not one American life. And that includes increasing the debt to where we have a lower standard of living and people die. So I guess it will boil down to no dollars.
There you go.
That's my cause. How about that
In terms
one?
of American lives, what are you willing to sacrifice?
This is a great question, and I've been very clear about this, and I think I might surprise Owen here, right? I don't want a single American soldier's boot
Not
to touch
surprised
the
if
ground
that's true.
in Iran,
Yes,
all right? I don't want
dude.
their, I don't
He's
want
a
to touch the
bottom
ground in
Jew,
Israel
dude. I
either,
told you.
and they don't need us to, right? Now let's start off, if I can, real quick with the benefits of our relationship with Israel up until this point, right? First of all, you have all these people that say,
it's
oh,
gonna
the
be good.
$350 billion in foreign aid. It's like, okay, the indirect spending, over an 11-year period, there was a net positive for America based on that offset our foreign aid to Israel of about $1 billion a year, right? Not a lot, but that's enough. And then we have the strategic intelligence sharing operations. We have all this other all this other stuff that we can
did he
go into.
just say we benefit $1 billion by sending Israel $3.5 billion a year? Is that the argument he's just made?
Did we get $1 billion by sending them $3 billion? $3.5 billion?
That's what he just said.
Israel up until this point, right? First of all, you have all these people that say, oh, the $350 billion in foreign aid. It's like, okay, the indirect spending, over an 11-year period, there was a net positive for America based on that offset our foreign aid to Israel of about $1 billion a year, right? Not a lot, but that's enough. And then we have
Josh, we make money by sending, we sent Israel, he said $350 billion. But we really made $11 billion over 11 years. Because that makes sense.
Well, hey, I mean,
that sounds like some Jew math. That's what that sounds like.
You gotta spend money to make money.
That sounds like some
and
Jew
spend
math
money and
there.
spend money and spend money.
That sounds like some 1947 math.
Our investment is going to come back, and we're going to be ripping the benefits. God's going to reward us for saving His chosen people.
Intelligence sharing operations. We have all this other stuff that we can go into. But let's just go from a selfish monetary capitalist fucking viewpoint. We make money off of our relationship with Israel because we sell them weapons. Now, what do I want us to do?
And that's why they call us the Great Satan. Yeah, go ahead.
So I want us to sell.
He's accounting for all the war funding that we send. He's accounting for all of the money that we pump into our own nation to fund their wars by sending them weapons. That's the money he's accounting for.
Oh.
That's some Jew math. I told you it was coming. It's too easy, dude.
Real.
If it's too good to make sense,
it's because it doesn't.
Because it doesn't.
To win their war. But I do think that we have a vested interest in making sure that Iran, under its current leadership, right, the IRGC, the Iranian leadership right now is an evil regime that hates Israel and hates America. Now, the solution that...
Dude, it's this thing over and over again. It's just... The regime they don't have any goals. They don't have anything. They're just evil. They're crazy. They hate America. I mean, this is Russia. The Russians, Putin's just evil, crazy guy. He just hates America. Kim Jong-un, he's just evil, crazy guy. There's no nuance here. They're not people. They have no thoughts. They're just crazy and evil.
Yeah.
It's like, their position is, I have no argument. He's evil.
Yeah, I mean,
have no argument. The Nazis are evil. You're an evil Nazi. I'm not going to even think about what you're going to say because I can't understand it.
I do think Islam was started by a demon. I mean, the boomers literally think that like every single person in the Middle East except Israelis are demon possessed.
I don't think the debate, they try to boil it down to Islam versus the West or Jewish or whatever.
Which is, no.
I think you need to take this as a country, as Iran, and not as Muslim.
Yeah. They say, well, it's a Muslim country. And it's like, no, it is a majority Muslim country, but it's also, I mean, like, do they even have I don't even know what their system is like. Like, are there leaders elected?
I couldn't tell you.
Owen has is, I don't care because...
I don't think it matters,
and
dude.
You're right, though. You're right. I don't think it does. Like, it's like I said, they try to set up this dynamic where it is because you see Netanyahu in a suit next to the Ayatollah, it's us versus these illiterate foreign sand savages.
Yes. Well, and that's the thing we did in the Marine Corps was you dehumanize the enemy. And so you call them, you call them dirt squirrels, you call them subhuman, you call them delta human, you call them sub-deltas or whatever. And you try to dehumanize the enemy. You call them evil.
Makes them easier
to
kill.
You call them crazy. It makes you easier to hate them. It makes you easier to kill them because it in your conscience or subconscious, you then think, oh, I'm doing the right thing regardless of whatever the thing I did was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they do when they say, oh, they're evil. They try to implant that subconscious in your head that whatever happens to them is just.
Right.
Be replaced by somebody else, and they will also hate America. Okay, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But right now, what we have in front of us is a terrorist regime, the #1 state sponsor of terrorism around the world. And as I stated, in the past 50 years, we have over 66,000 terrorist attacks from this ideology. And I think that it's pertinent to get in front of that and go, okay, these people are bad news. We should at least stop these people. And then, yeah, sure, if they have a regime change and it's just as bad, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But at least right now, we need to stop these people from doing the bad things that they clearly want to do and have alluded to. But so to answer your question, sorry for that long-winded. To answer your question, the cost to America, I think, would be low because we would be selling weapons. And I think that it wouldn't be like Ukraine. You just give them money. I want us to sell them weapons, and I want us to provide air support and any type of aerial support as long as it doesn't put an American soldier's life in danger. That's what I think it should be.
And you don't think that would have any blowback from the people that you claim hate America and want to kill America?
Time out. We're going to end this here pretty soon. Chat, if you're new here, we go live most days 2:30 on whatever channel you're watching on. You can also follow my channel at Zeb Boykin on YouTube and Twitter, and I think we are actually live on Rumble today. And then Josh Vandernoord, I think, is on his YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to end this in a second. I just want to note that he was going to list off all the benefits that Israel gives to the U.S., and the only thing that he said was that Israel's wars enable the U.S. to fund more weapons creation.
Which is beneficial for us because it funds the military-industrial complex. Do you own Boeing, Raytheon stock?
No.
By any chance?
No. I think the stock market is gambling, and I don't gamble.
I think so, too.
What are they going to do?
Oh, okay. Perfect. So then we don't need to get involved then.
No, but I'm saying if we
won't do
go,
anything either way. Beautiful. I'm glad that we reached that conclusion.
But if we go bomb their fucking nuclear facilities, what are they going to do? Like, tell me.
I don't know. Ask Israel.
What
Why don't you ask Israel what they're going to do? Why don't you ask the people that are living in bomb shelters right now?
They just fired like a barrage on Israel, and there was only 11 casualties. So
according to what? You don't know that.
There was 11. That's what the reports are. I mean,
okay, great. So you're okay with 11 people dying? Cool.
No, I'm not okay with it. I'm saying.
No, you justified it. You said it's good.
I'm saying that if Iran fires all of their artillery at a country the size of New Jersey and can only take out 11 people, what are we worried about? We should go.
I agree. We shouldn't be worried about Iran. Thank you. Now you see it my way. Exactly. We shouldn't be worried about Iran. It shouldn't be our issue. I'm glad that we reached this conclusion. But see, why don't you seem to care about Israeli people? They're living in bunkers right now.
Because I was like, what is his point? Why is he saying they only killed 11 people? That is kind of. I mean, that's
that would be an argument in your favor.
Yeah.
Or in our favor, rather.
Either A, they're intentionally not killing people, which shows that they're not evil bastards, or B, they're so incompetent that they're not a threat, really. So which one is it?
They want their cake and eat it too, dog.
Literally, it's like we were saying, they can't help themselves. They can't even admit that Iran could overpower them. They have to say, oh, they're stupid. Like, they have to put them down, even if it's detrimental to their own argument. They can't help it.
Well, because then you toss out people like this that just parrot whatever official narrative that you want them to parrot.
Netanyahu did in Iran. They're literally living in bunkers with air raid sirens going off. Is that the life you want for Israel?
They're not living in bunkers. I know plenty of people in Israel. My friend was in his apartment while they were going off. They moved to the shelter.
So it's all propaganda.
They go right back to their apartment.
You admitted to it's all propaganda. All the videos coming out of people sitting in bunkers in concrete stairwells, it's all a lie. Dude.
What is his point?
If I was the glorified Jew leader rabbi, I would say, hey, misfits patriot, stop getting in front of the cameras. Stop. You're bad. You're bad for us. You're bad, but they're not going to do that. You can't do it. They're too arrogant. Chad, I think that's it for today. I think we're going to end on that. Does Owen get fired up anymore? Let's find out real quick. He's
getting kind of close to the camera right there.
No,
yeah, that's nice. Now because of our relationship with Israel, people want to strike us. So now we need a dome. Great foreign policy.
People are going to want to strike us regardless of Israel. Israel's a country.
Really? When does it happen? When have
Israel is a country the size of New Jersey, bro.
And they control our Congress.
Dude, keep saying that. What does it matter? What does it matter how large?
With 20 nuclear bombs.
It doesn't matter how large it is.
If you think, no, they don't. But you think that little dot on the map is responsible for all the world's problems? I heard that fucking.
When did I say that?
No. I'm saying. Well, I'm asking you. Do you think that Israel is responsible for all the conflicts in the Middle East, or a lot of the conflicts in the Middle East?
Absolutely, that's true.
So a country the size of New Jersey, right?
Okay, hold on. Are you telling me that one man is responsible for the death of 6 million people? One guy?
Whoa! Easy there, Josh. Easy there with your numbers.
You sound crazy.
all that region going around killing all the time.
Yeah, you're not helping your argument here. You're hurting your argument.
It's a nonsense argument. It would be like saying
okay.
Thailand.
Well, why don't you tell that to Israel's neighbors and see what they say?
That is the most retarded statement. It's kind of like saying like, oh, there would be no trans people without Thailand because they have ladyboys. It's fucking stupid. It's a dumb argument, right? Israel is defending itself from people that want to kill them because there's a 3,000-year-old holy war there, right? That's
and I want nothing to do with it.
That's cool. You don't have to have anything to do with it, but
no, because you even said it's on our soil now. Is it on our soil?
Based on the Arab hatred for America that's going to exist with
so it is on our soil.
They're going to hate us with or without Israel.
Exactly. Oh, okay.
In fact,
so it is on our soil, and so the 3,000-year-old holy war is now on our soil because of our involvement in the Middle East.
Well, no, it's because we're a Christian nation. It's not because we're involved. It's because we're a Christian nation. It's 100% because we're a Christian nation.
Really? How long have we been a Christian nation?
Islam.
How long have we been a Christian nation?
Since our founding.
Okay. And when did Islamic terror start hitting America?
There's been terror attacks in America from Islam for the past, I don't know, fucking 60 years, but that's only because they finally figured out how to get over here.
When was Israel founded?
I don't know.
60 years ago. It's amazing how that math adds up. Thank you for that.
When you have more technology and more resources to get over across the ocean and do shit, yeah, there's more ways to get over here. I mean, bro, like, you're not understanding what I'm saying. These people, right? They hate you. It's a convert or kill. It's a convert.
I'm telling you, dog. Dude.
Oh god.
Please get me on the same screen as this retard. It's just lob after lob. I mean, he sets himself up. Oh man. Chat. George Taylor, what's up? Welcome, brother. Excuse me. Malformed patriot learned how to argue from his neurotic mother. Dude, I mean, honestly, dude may be pushing like 95 IQ. Maybe. I mean, he constantly sets himself up for straight up bangers from Owen. Like I think Owen's paying Misfit Patriot for this debate. Like, hey, dude, hey, let me get my wallet out, throw you some shekels. Here, some judo. Here's some judo. Here's some judo. Just throw me some lobs so I can just pump out some bangers for you. Get some clips. That's my conspiracy going forward. Anybody that debates Misfit Patriots is paying him for some good clips. Because dude is an absolute retard. He doesn't belong up there.
Layup.
I'm not saying I do. I'd like to give it a try. But I can't imagine that I would be
hurt or killed death cult, and they will spread, and they will go to any fucking nation that is not Islam and not Sharia law, and try to make it Islam and try to make it Sharia law. And your ignorance of thinking that Israel is
what again? So what? What does that have to do with us being involved with Israel?
Israel, like I said, our relationship with Israel is just an allyship based off a mutually beneficial relationship that
Gentlemen, hang on. So is the premise that it's no matter what, all Muslims bad?
Not all Muslims, all radical Islamists. Yeah, I mean,
what's the difference? So what's the difference?
What's the difference? Yeah, what's the difference? Yeah, dude, Owen's right on top of it, dude. I mean, dude, okay, Josh, I think I need to debate these retards.
Yeah,
you think I could do it?
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
you can debate.
Exactly right. What's the difference? There's no difference.
You could debate that retard.
Well, there are peaceful Muslims.
They're all that
you have
retarded.
to
Just some of them are better at hiding it.
Like Destiny, although less so now.
Yeah. That's about it. That's all the only ones that are willing to engage.
Or their religious doctrine. There's there's billions of them.
And I agree with that. Yeah. Now, how do you tell the difference?
Dean Withers. I'll make Dean Withers my concubine. Did you ever see that tweet?
No.
There was the Navy SEAL that killed Osama bin Laden. When Dean Withers went viral, he said, in another life, I would have made you my concubine or something like that. It was hilarious.
Dude. Him and Parker?
Yeah.
It's astonishing, like, the kind of stuff they get
Harry
away with.
Sisson?
I see Harry Sisson, but not as much. I don't know if my feed is kind of tailored. But, like, Harry...
Well, he had that falling out when he actually proved that he wasn't gay or something with those
Harry
women.
Sisson?
Yeah. He had, like, leaked DMs of him
Yeah, where he was...
Yeah, but
was he pretending to be gay?
Yeah, but I mean, not really, but he
everyone
was.
thought. Well, I mean, they're all like effeminate, you know.
They're all like Misfit Patriot.
It's very difficult, but I mean, I don't have like a really like direct answer for that. You tell the difference by who's trying to kill people and who's not. And I'm not saying ban all Muslims.
Something you said earlier when Owen was talking about the blowback from the Middle Eastern wars, like we went to the war with.
Hold on. Is he talking about Islam and the radical Islamists versus the non-radical Islamists, and you tell the difference between who's trying to kill people and who's not? And Israel's literally launching missiles.
I don't have like a really like direct answer for that. You tell the difference by who's trying to kill people and who's not. And I'm not saying ban all Muslims.
Is it? I mean, these are lobs. I mean, it's too easy.
Something you said earlier when Owen was talking about the blowback from the Middle Eastern wars, like we went to war with Afghanistan. Now there's a bunch of Afghan
That's our
people
failed
here.
leadership that did that.
I need
our
to get
failed
off.
leadership.
There's a bunch of Syrians here. There's a bunch of
What do you gotta
Somalis.
do?
He mentioned deporting
Baby
them.
things.
I want to be clear. Did you say that you're against deporting all of those people?
I want to deport every illegal immigrant.
So you're okay with millions or however many it is legal Somali, Syrian, Afghan migrants? You think that's good for America?
I think that in America, because
Chat, I'm gonna let Josh close up. Josh, you can watch his messages if you want to. I might actually come back in here if you want to stick it out for a little while. I don't know what time you got to leave, but
what time is it? 5?
Yeah, like 5:15. I'll be back in a little bit if you're still here.
Crazy amount of time, but
Chat, good to see you today. Good to talk to you. Good to look at a bunch of bad news, but is what it is. Me and Josh, we're cooking up some things coming forward here pretty soon, so we'll see if we can make some things happen. Some non-live things, if you will. So we'll take it from there.
Other projects.
Very much so. I might be back. I might
like
not.
sending Netanyahu some flowers.
Josh.
Wait a minute. Okay, I got to start from here. All right, here we go. I want to continue.
Judeo-Christian nation, then you should at least conform to or respect our Judeo-Christian value system, right?
There is no Judeo-Christian value system. That's
Yes, there is.
propaganda. It's a Christian country. It's not Judeo-Christian. That is straight up propaganda.
Do you even fucking know what Judeo-Christian means?
It's made up. It's made up.
No,
Yeah, it is.
It means
Yeah,
it means Old Testament and New Testament, retard. It doesn't mean
Wrong. The modern Orthodox Jews, modern religious Jews, and especially modern secular Jews, their religion has been completely deformed from what it was from the Old Testament. The similarities between modern day Orthodox Judaism and the Judaism of the Old Testament are extremely superficial. And the only thing they have in common is instead of doing they still do animal sacrifices, but they also do human sacrifices.
It means Old Testament and New Testament, because you just came in with an ignorant statement, so I called you a retard.
Christians believe in the New Testament. Okay, so
Christians
Judeo-Christian
believe in
values are
both.
fake.
Christians
They're
believe
fake.
in both.
Even if you believe that, that's fine. This is a
Christians don't read
Christian
from-
nation.
Christians
No,
don't just
this is
read
a
from the New
Christian-
Testament.
This is a
Again,
Christian nation.
retard. Again,
All
retard.
right, let me break it up for just a second.
How the
Zach,
fuck do you not know this?
Zach, calm down. You said that because we have Judeo-Christian values, you're okay with, I guess, the Somali migrants. When you see a video from like the Mall of America and you see all these women in burqas walking around the mall, like it's all Muslims walking around the mall, you see that and you think that that's American?
No. Like I said, right? And I'll try not to be rude to Owen right here, but let me explain something.
Oh, you've only called me a fucking retard 10 times. I think it's already gone, so go ahead.
So, Judeo-Christian value system and structure, right, is based off of the Old Testament with the 10 Commandments, which is what inspired our Constitution. You can cross-reference it. To ignore the Old Testament in our country is retarded. All right, it's not a logical argument.
What does that have to do with
Hold on. So Muslims do not follow that system. So I think that we should not have mosques in America. I think that we should not have any type of Islamic religious practice.
But you don't want to deport the Somali. You want to ban their mosques, but leave the people?
I think that if you're a legal American and you're in America, I'm not going to start saying you can't be here, right? What I'm saying is you need to assimilate. We need to make assimilation laws.
They're already on the books. That's already part of the process. You have to assimilate.
Sure, but nobody does.
So just real quick, the ignoring of the Old Testament. The ignoring of the Old Testament thing.
So what's his point here? Owen rightly brings up that there are assimilation laws on the books, and then he goes, yeah, but they're not being followed. But what's your solution? More immigration laws? They're already there. That's the problem, is that a law that's not being enforced isn't a law. It could be on paper all the live long day, but if it's not being forced, it's not a law. It is not in practice. If murder is illegal, but no one gets arrested for it, murder is legal.
Yeah.
Do we eat shrimp?
Do we what? Yeah,
Do you eat shrimp?
Yes.
You ignore the Old Testament too.
You eat pork? You don't understand the theology.
Hang on a second.
You don't understand.
Hang on a second. Saying that is wild, okay? Because
so
I understand you. I just asking a question because that's in the Old Testament, right? If you want,
I've used the argument before.
Oh, good. So you're familiar with how that.
I use it to point out how ridiculous it is, right? You have to understand the actual theology behind the Bible, where he was telling these certain people not to eat shrimp, and that covenant with those people does not apply to people under a different covenant. But we don't need to get into a theological debate today, right?
No, because that's false.
So what's the point? Like, if he's arguing that, well, the old covenant, which I agree with, like we're a part of the old covenant, not part of the new covenant, not a part of the old covenant. Well, then what's the point in saying that the Old Testament laws are integral to the founding of the nation? If you're talking about like the 10 Commandments, sure, but like there's 613 like the Deuteronomic laws, the Levitical laws. And like, I know Jesus didn't come to abolish the law, but to fulfill it. But clearly, like some of the new covenant, I mean, and it's basically stated, you know, you can have those things now.
Wasn't even a concept till the 19th century. You can't even find it in 17th century, 18th century text. It doesn't.
It's a concept now. People make up terms. And then
So it wasn't there for 1776. It wasn't there with the founding fathers. Not a single founding father talked about Judeo-Christian
The
values.
term straw man was made up at a certain point. The term fucking, I don't know, pick a word. It was made up, and then you put it into the English language, and then you use it.
This guy's using straw man as a straw man. That's a first. Wow.
But what I'm saying is, if your argument is it didn't used to be a term and now it's a term, dude. So the term means Old Testament and New combined, and it's a structure system that we, America, used to create our set of rules and.
So the problem with this is not that the term Judeo-Christian morals or you know, whatever you want to call it, Judeo-Christian theology, it's not that it was made up. It existed beforehand, but then it was given a name, kind of like Trinitarianism. Trinitarianism is in Scripture, but it's not called Trinitarianism. The word Trinity, Trinitarianism came about later. Understand that. The problem with the idea that there are Judeo-Christian values is that Judaism and Christianity are not compatible. They do not have the same morality. To say like, well, we get our laws from the Old Testament, like thou shalt not kill. Every religion has that, has a don't kill law in some way. What about the Talmud, where it says it's okay to rape rape little girls as long as they're goyim? Is that Christian? No.
Laws, right? That inspired them.
It's just wrong.
Just to be clear, Old Testament
argue that is serious, but okay.
Old Testament plus New combined would look very much like Orthodox Jews that go and get communion. You know
do,
that,
you
right?
think, do you think that Christians only read from the New Testament?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
See, here's you keep talking to me like I don't know what I'm talking about, and that's kind of funny.
Well,
But about this topic,
I called this was going to be a 2-on-1 debate, but I don't care.
No, it's not. It's not. I'm not debating you. I'm not. I'm trying to get a point of clarification because, like you said, people like these people listen to the Old Testament and others ignore it. And I was pointing out that if you don't that's such an easy argument to make, but yet it's not actual truth. Like there's so much in the Old Testament that is ignored just by you sitting here. Like
Israel and Iran in average American households. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody cares. And that's the problem. And that's why the Republicans are going to lose, because this is now their top issue, because this is now this is now their biggest issue. It's the thing they're all focusing on. It's the thing they're all posting about. It's the thing they're all doing TV interviews about. And we all know why. It's because of AIPAC. But that is why the Republicans are going to lose, because nobody's talking about this. You're absolutely right. This is not a kitchen table issue for Americans. It's not a kitchen table issue for Republicans. But if it does come up, they see the same thing. They don't want anything to do with it. They've learned from the Bush years. The Republican voters have already abandoned Bush neocon politics. And if they go right back to it, which, you know what, I'll even say this. Let's just say everything that happens with Israel and Iran is the best thing ever, all above board, great for America. It will not matter, because the reception in the United States is going to be Bush again, neocons again, I'm not going out to vote. That's the reality of the situation. You want to know what's going to get Republicans to win an election? Mass deportations, cutting taxes, okay? You know what else is going to also, you want to really put it over the top? And this is really where the Trump administration is failing. We need mass arrests. That's what we need. Who stole our 2020 election? Who ran Crossfire Hurricane? Who opened the borders and allowed an invasion into the country? If you want to dominate politically, you need mass arrests of deep state criminals. That's what we need. And here we are, same issue. Israel. No deep state arrests, no tax cuts. That's the problem.
Yeah, I see that. I agree with you. I think that the
hell yeah, dude. Owen is going off. Dude, he's good, man. You gotta. I'm gonna watch this full debate on my own time later. I'm gonna wrap it up here because I mean I could skip around all I want, but not really, like kind of blind firing here. I'm not really sure exactly what the best strat is and how long we've been live. Almost 3 hours, so I think it's a good time to wrap up. How many people are watching? I'm around 9 still, but I appreciate you guys. This is hold on. Let me do a little wizardry over here to. I have made a mistake. Boom. Thank you guys for watching. So I'll give you a little preview on what we're talking about. I'm not going to spoil any of the kind of projects that Zeb was hinting at, but we're going to try and work. This is a special exception, obviously, but we're going to try and work to getting on a schedule where, you know, because basically I have a full-time job in addition to doing this. Zeb works full-time, but we're trying to maneuver some things around. Like my schedule's really, really busy. So we're going to try and do one live stream on Monday with Zeb and I, outside the Overton on Monday. On Tuesday, Zeb is going to do a solo stream, and I will be off that day. Wednesday, we will do another outside the Overton. Thursday, Zeb will do a solo stream, and then we'll transition to, he'll toss it to me doing a solo stream, and then we'll do Pendulum with Rodney on Fridays. That's kind of the tentative plan right now, and obviously things will change. You know, things come up. I'm going to be off for a week at the beginning of July, but that's kind of the tentative plan going forward. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap things up. Excited to be with you guys again shortly. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you all soon.